Oh, baby.
What year were you born?
1974.
11 years old, you were. An 11-year-old future basketball star at Mount Rainier High School.
Star is probably inaccurate. How about basketball player?
An 11-year-old future basketball player at Mount Rainier High School. So you were old enough to remember. April 1st, 1985. What year were you born?
1984.
He was not old enough
You were
to
a
remember.
1-year-old future star basketball player at Mount Rainier High School. April 1st, 1985.
April 1st, 1985.
April 1st, 1985.
Was that a
lot of April Fool's jokes going on that day.
remember it as if it were yesterday. Now, where would I have been?
I know April
I would
Fool's.
have. I was getting ready to graduate from the Benjamin School.
I would say
I was getting ready to go out by the woodshed one last time and get schwacked around.
two words come to
Schwacked.
Two words.
Where's the
come to
coach?
mind.
Huh?
Two words come to mind about
Yep.
that date. Ed and Pinckney.
Yeah, he was one of them. He was
Yeah.
one of many. There were the McLeans, and there were some other guys on that team. April 1st, 1985. Before we start the show today,
I was rooting for him too.
everybody was.
Oh, the upset.
Georgetown
You want
was Georgetown was the evil empire.
Of course they were.
John Thompson was the evil head coach. Patrick Ewing, nobody liked Patrick Ewing. Nobody in the country, even Patrick Ewing's family, didn't like Patrick Ewing. On April 1st, 1985, one of the greatest upsets, one of the biggest upsets. I was trying to find out late last night what the spread could have been. Thank you very much, Evil Empire. Now, I don't know what it was.
Had to have been 10 or 12, probably.
Whatever it was, it didn't reflect. I can promise you that. It didn't reflect the lopsided nature of this game.
Oh, there was no way. There was no way Villanova was going to win.
And they say,
impossible.
I want you to do a search there, Slickhawk, and come up with the shooting percentage of the Villanova Wildcats.
In 85?
Especially in the
On
second
April
half.
1st, 1985. I want to know, here are the two things that are going to amaze you because you don't remember that game. You were only a 1-year-old future basketball star at Mount Rainier High School.
I got the box score.
When
Villanova
I ask
versus
you,
Georgetown.
I want you to look at two things from the box score. Now, I didn't look at the box score last night, but I remember it as if it were yesterday.
Yeah.
I remember the shooting. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I remember that when you look at the shooting percentage of the Villanova Wildcats to be able to win a 2-point, I think it was 60. Was the final score 65, 63?
64.
66 to 64.
Yeah.
Villanova pulls the upset of all upsets. They beat a Georgetown team that was 35-2, I believe, going into the game, or 25. Maybe it was 25-2. Maybe they didn't play that many games. I thought it was 35-2. And I remember here's what I remember statistically about the game. The shooting percentage was incredibly high. Like, you can't even imagine that a team could shoot that percentage in a game.
786.
What was it?
786.
Oh, my God. I didn't realize it was that high.
78% from the field. And how many shots did they get off? They only got off a few
28.
28 field goal attempts the entire game,
oh my
right?
Goodness.
No. What was it, 28?
They were 22 of 28.
They were 22 out of 28. They had to slow it down.
Russell Westbrook takes that every game.
They only had 5 guys score.
That's right. And let me guess the names. McLean, Gary and
Yep.
McLean. And, of course, Easy Ed, Eddie Pinckney.
Yeah, that's 3.
Now, I don't think Granger was on that team. I think he was gone, and I think Pannone was gone. Or was there a Pannone on that team?
No,
Pannone.
not to play that day.
Who else scored?
Gary McLean, and the other. What was the other?
Dwayne
Dwayne McLean.
Yeah, Easy Ed Pinckney. Jensen. Harold
Jensen.
Harold Jensen from the corner.
white guy.
From the corner. Why is it the white guy always shoots from the corner?
Well, We just stand out there and practice.
Because I was going to say, because he practices it a lot.
No, but why does he shoot from the – it's always the corner. The white guy shoots from the corner.
Because that's where you're open.
Why can't the white guy shoot from the wing? Why can't the white guy shoot from the top of the key? Why does he got to stand at the corner?
Because the
defense is in the corner.
Defense is always heavier at the wing and at the point.
What's the white guy doing in the wing?
You lose the white guy in the corner.
You lose him because
he blends into the white towels on the sideline.
You know what you do?
What?
You double off of the white guy in the corner.
That's right.
The coach calls you to the huddle and says, "Whoever's covering the white guy, you double team."
Yeah, that's right.
Okay? The white shooter in the background. So those are the guys I can remember.
I loved being the white guy in the corner.
Yeah. Pinkney. Did you like being the white guy?
My first ever points I ever scored in a varsity game. 3 from the corner.
Really?
They lost my white guy.
Yeah, we didn't have 3-pointers when I played. That's how old I am.
At Kennedy High School.
And virtually every shot I made as a high school basketball varsity player would have been a 3-pointer.
Really?
I wasn't getting close to anybody.
Chucking it, huh?
I wasn't getting close to anybody. But there's no 3-pointers. I got 2. It was 2 for 2.
Yeah.
So Jensen, Pinkney, McLean, and who are we missing?
Harold Presley.
Oh,
Presley.
Harold Presley.
Yeah.
Of course. 30, I think it was 33. Big, tall drink of water. Okay. And they got 28 shots off the entire game.
Yeah.
Raleigh Massimino was a character, man. You don't remember him, do you?
Roly-poly, Raleigh
22 free throws.
Remember the guy that's
of 27.
Remember the guy that Mitch talks about, the Hampton coach that
very similar.
That he kicks his legs, the little fat guy that kicks his legs.
Yeah.
Raleigh was him before him. He was that guy.
Raleigh Massimino was the coach of the Villanova Wildcats, who to this day people say played the perfect game. Let me ask you a question. Think about the notion that before a basketball game starts, before a college basketball championship game starts, you know that you've got to shoot 78% from the field to win by 2. Think about how outmatched and how outmanned you are if you got to shoot 78.6% from the field to win by 2.
Of those 22 made field goals, how many of them actually went through the cylinder? Because I remember Patrick Ewing intentionally goaltending like
was that
4
game?
or 5. He did it all season long because he wanted to just show. He goes, I don't mind. I'll give up the 2 right here just to show you I'm in here.
Anyway.
And he would swat it out of the cylinder.
And anyway, before we start, college basketball mourning, the world of college basketball mourning the loss of Raleigh Massimino. Raleigh Massimino was the head coach of the Villanova Wildcats who shocked the world by Pete. And I'm telling you, and it wasn't just me, and I hadn't even gone to Syracuse yet. I was getting ready to go to Syracuse. I'm telling you, those Georgetown teams, they were the villains of all villains.
Absolutely.
Nobody liked those Georgetown teams.
Nope.
They were too good. They had the evil center in the middle. They had the evil coach with the towel on his shoulder on the sideline who would take his team off the floor. If he didn't like what was going on with the refereeing, he'd pull his team off the floor.
Always grumpy.
Oh, God, that Georgetown
Absolutely.
team. That Georgetown team. Anyway, let's restart. Can we start the show now that we've...
Live from the Carnival Twin Studios, KJR AM and KJR FM HD2 Seattle and iHeart
I'm
radio
glad he got a
stations.
chance to see him win the title.
This
He was
is Mitch in
there
the
yet
morning.
last year. He was in the
I
stands
remember,
last year. That
Yeah.
was very cool that he got a chance to see them win the title again.
Yeah. Oh, brother. Where do we begin today? Do we begin by the Slick Hawk definition of how the Mariners are in the playoff race? What the definition all year has been of the Mariners being in the playoff race? Do we start with that?
The definition?
He's always defined it one way. You mentioned it yesterday.
What's that?
How many games out on September the 1st?
No, that's not me.
That's me.
I thought you're the one who's always said if the
That's
Mariners
him. Mine
No,
was
5 games
I wanted them to be 500 on August 1st.
Yes, his was 500 on August 1st.
500 on August.
And I defined
you lose.
playoff race as...
Well, they were at 500 on August 1st.
on August 1st.
August 1st.
August 1st.
and
August
I,
1st.
I defined the playoff race as 5 or less by September 1st.
Okay, well,
You're about to
you win.
Oh, so
It's
no
not
matter what.
September 1st. Oh, because we don't play today.
No matter what, even if they did play today. They're 4 games out. So they could be 5 games out on September the 1st.
They could.
Why would I not feel like they're in the race?
Because they're going one way and not
the way
the
you've
other.
defined it. Why would I not go along with that?
There's a simple reason. It's because of the second wild card. Because of the second wild card, there are so many teams that are in it. So the Mariners have 4 or 5 teams that are above them in the wild card race. With this philosophy, it would have worked 5 years ago. You probably only have 1 or 2 teams that are going to be you're going to be chasing.
It's true. I haven't adjusted in the last few years my philosophy.
You haven't?
It's kind of no, I haven't. It's kind of an age-old number. So Slick might be right. I might have to adjust my number
before September 1st.
Before September 1st.
You got to better do it. The clock's ticking. The clock is ticking.
Got about 18 hours.
Yeah. You know what's weird? I want to know about your guys' lunch and the game yesterday. It's so weird when they play these 9 o'clock Pacific time, 12 noon businessman special games on the East Coast. They do it from time to time. You know all morning, and then you forget. I went to a doctor's appointment yesterday, and I was driving to the doctor's appointment. Could have been listening to the game. Driving home from the doctor's appointment, could have been listening to the game. And then all of a sudden, I look down at my phone at some point, and I see a little alert, and it says 6-2. And I'm like, wait a second. Mm-hmm. That's not last night's score. They're playing a game right now. And then I realized, geez, I could have been listening for the last hour. I could have been an hour and a half. I could have been listening. I always forget it. For some reason, it gets by me at 9 a.m. 9 a.m. comes, and I just can't get used to putting on a baseball game at 9 o'clock. So you went to lunch.
Yeah.
How was lunch?
It was good.
Lunch was fun. We had a husband and wife team that we
a husband and wife team.
A team.
A
partnership.
Yeah.
Mike and Suzanne.
Did you go to the one right here where we always go to the afternoon games?
No, we went to Kent. Because,
you went to Kent?
Because we're all South Enders, so we picked some place that was close to everywhere everybody was.
I see.
I was a little surprised at Slickhawk yesterday. Actually, I was very surprised at Slickhawk yesterday.
Let me guess why.
Numerous reasons.
Let me guess one reason.
Three reasons.
Let me guess one reason.
3 separate reasons.
I don't think he ate as much as he normally eats. I think that's going to be one of the reasons. As he sips his water.
That is one, and it included no carbs. He wouldn't have an armadillo egg, and he told me I ordered it for him.
Yes, there's been suspicion here that he's been on a diet for a few weeks now.
He goes, I can't eat those. I was like, what do you mean? You love these. What do you mean you can't eat these? He goes, I can't eat.
He's on a new diet. He's on a new kick.
I wouldn't say that. Niner Nate's lost 20 pounds. Did you know that?
So that's one. Let's not change the subject.
You wouldn't say that, even though you wouldn't eat a carb when your middle name is Carb.
That's not my middle name.
Pretty much.
That's one.
But you're not going to find out what it is either.
The second is
Matthew what?
Lewis.
Matthew Lewis Miklas.
Yes.
Well, what's going on?
Nothing's going on.
Obviously, something's going on.
Just wasn't that hungry.
Are you telling the truth? Come on.
Don't worry about what I'm doing.
Why? Why can't we know? If you're on a diet, why can't we know?
No, it's just, I'm just doing my own thing.
Well, okay, I
wouldn't call it a diet.
What do you call it?
I'm doing things a little differently.
Really?
Yeah.
Inspired by what?
Nothing, not inspired by anything. But I wanted to be healthier.
So he had chicken wings.
When did it? He did?
Yeah.
I'd have chicken wings.
Chicken wings and buffalo sauce.
Come on.
And ranch. Yes, that's what he ate. He ate a plate of chicken wings.
Were they fried?
No. No, they were just
okay.
regular. Yeah, they were just a regular chicken wings. Yeah. And to drink?
Well, chicken wings can be fried, by the way.
Right, yeah. To drink?
These ones weren't.
Okay.
Water.
No beer.
No
alcohol whatsoever.
While
I was down in a big old
How
frosty.
long is this going on?
I was down in a big old frosty mug. He was having water.
Since August 7th.
So you know the date.
Oh.
But there's nothing really going on.
Nothing's really going on.
Okay. There's nothing to see here, but you know exactly the date. What do you
want from me?
I just want you to tell us what's going on.
Nothing. I'm just being healthier.
Since August the 7th.
Yeah.
What happened on August the 6th?
Well, it's still my birthday weekend. I got a little crazy that weekend.
Oh.
So he decided to start after his birthday.
I see. And how's it going?
Fine.
Are you weighing yourself?
No.
Not
even doing that.
Do you feel any different?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you feel different?
There's you just know when things
fit
a little
looser,
tighter. Yeah.
So you think you've lost some weight?
Well, these pants, I got to get new pants.
So you've lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got to get new pants. He's
but you don't know how much weight you
I don't know.
You're just going along.
I've lost. I mean, it's early. So.
Has it been a struggle? Well, good for you.
Not really.
Been a struggle?
No, not
so
really.
You've had no alcohol since August 7th either?
I had a little bit, just some whiskey, straight.
Huh. No beer.
No beer.
Don't tell me no fast food.
No fast food.
No fast food since
None.
August 7th?
Wow.
None.
How did we not know this?
Oh, I knew this.
You haven't been here.
I knew this. While you were eating shrimp, I knew this. You made a comment. Something happened.
Oh, it was when I went to Portland. I didn't go to Burgerville.
Yeah, that's right.
That's not the only thing. There was something going on here, maybe that you said, "Nah, I don't want any of that," or something. I don't remember what it was. We were around food, or we were talking about food, or something happened, and he made a comment. I was like, "Huh?" The radar went up. Well, good for you.
Thanks.
I don't know why you're so hesitant to talk about it.
I don't know. It's just
That's great.
Not
You're drinking water, huh?
I'm drinking water.
A lot of water. You want to? Can I get you
a Contigo?
Would you like a Contigo?
I'm okay.
What do you mean you're okay?
No, I like this because then I
can get you a Contigo.
Okay.
It would be a gift from me to you.
I would appreciate
it. You get the 2-pack at Costco.
How much?
You can.
You know, this Contigo is about 26 ounces.
That's lasted you too.
And what lasted?
Well, it hasn't like broken.
No, a little bit. I love the Contigo. 26 ounces. I try to drink at least 2 of these guys a show between 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. I like to have had 52 ounces of water by the time I walk out of here, or not walk out of here, run to the restroom.
Yeah, I don't know how you don't go to the bathroom like 8 times.
I do late in the show. You don't notice? Late in the show, I start going and he needs me to do commercials, and I got to go to the bathroom.
The seal has been broken.
Yeah. Well, this was a problem yesterday. This is a problem actually because this is a Gatorade bottle. It's 20 ounces.
Yeah,
and I do 3 of these in a show.
Well, that's 60.
3, so that's 60.
That's impressive.
Okay.
But yesterday we had a meeting after the show.
Okay.
And so Rich Moore,
you had to pee.
Rich Moore is waxing poetic, and he's just going.
He was waxing poetic.
He's just going on, and I'm sitting there squirming.
How did you get out of that meeting, by the way, Mitch?
Why can't you? I had to go to a doctor's appointment. Why can't you excuse yourself and go to the bathroom?
I could have.
What is this, school? You're not allowed to go to the bathroom?
No, I could have, but it seemed like he was in the middle of a very important point, and I didn't really want to.
He's making a good run?
Yeah, so I didn't really want to be that guy. But then he stopped and asked for questions, and then Dick went and asked a question. Right as Dick started asking his question, I was out.
Well, that makes sense that when Dick starts asking a question that you need to go to the bathroom. Yeah. When Dick starts asking,
you got to go.
You got to go. You got to go.
You got to listen to Dick.
But when I came back,
or in this case, not listen to Dick.
But when I came back, Dick was still asking his question.
No,
that's a long question.
Oh, he responded to me, and I think it was probably a follow-up question.
I thought I asked long questions.
I think it's probably a follow-up question.
I'm the master of the long questions.
That's the rumor. That's
My
what people
God.
say.
That's funny.
Well, good for you. Good for you. So,
but why were you so somber yesterday?
By the way,
I wasn't somber. I was tired.
Okay. Just a point of emphasis. I used to try to drink 3 of these guys. And then I was told that's too much.
Yeah, you don't need that much
You need to spread it out over the course of the day. So don't get so hooked into 60 a morning. Get more hooked into 60 before like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Here's what I do. I do 2 of these just throughout the morning.
Okay.
But then I also do a shake, which is also mostly water. It's a little shake.
That's how I know.
Protein?
That's how I know. I saw you do a shake. Have you done a shake here?
Yeah.
Yes, I've seen him do shakes. And I was like, what are you doing a shake? That's how I...
Was it like a protein shake?
I don't ask him.
It's just
what are you asking me?
I don't know what it's...
We really got to start
with
the
water.
show. We really should start the show. I don't know that anybody... Does anybody care about it? I
no,
care about
this is why I don't even want to talk about it.
No,
people don't need to
know. People don't need to know. KJR AM and KJR FM HD2 Seattle and iHeart radio station.
I'm glad you're doing this.
I am
Mitch
too.
in the morning.
Now, I want you to be able to come to the beer and Ram and have a beer with me, though.
Eventually, yeah.
Okay.
It's just not in my plans right now.
Okay.
Good for you, except...
I'm not going to never drink a beer again, but I'm going to get in better shape and then do
There's
things
only
in
one
moderation.
thing about it is that you like you know... There's always that guy that you like pudgy.
Yeah, don't get too skinny. Don't get too skinny.
We'll just see what happens.
You want to talk. Don't get too skinny.
Yeah, but I was never pudgy.
He said in the meeting that he's gained 7 pounds on his little cruise.
I gained 7 pounds eating shrimp in 3 weeks.
He turns to the side, and I can't see him. No, I wasn't going to say don't get too skinny. I was just going to say, you know how you have a buddy in a group of friends?
Softy.
That's pudgy. That you just like pudgy. He's funny that way.
Softy.
And if he starts losing weight, you don't have the pudgy friend really much anymore. It's kind of a disheartening type of a thing.
Yes.
But you feel guilty feeling that way because you want him to be healthy.
That's right.
Because you care about him. But the group is a better group with him pudgy. Does anybody know what I'm talking about?
For me,
am I making that up?
My longtime friend, Dave Mahler. That's
Mahler.
That's my pudgy friend who's no longer pudgy.
Not pudgy anymore. Well, we have Slickhawk who gives us the fast food update. He tells us everything that we need to know about fast food and that's fun to me. And now I don't get a chance to get that update, even though he's getting himself healthy, which is nice. Okay,
which is nice.
We should tell everybody what's on the show today. The Seahawks at 7 with Greg Bell is 37 minutes away. I did the math right this morning. 37 minutes away. Schnozzes, the poll. Well, you guys know the poll question. Don't tell me you don't know the poll question by now.
Oh, it's the same one that we have every game.
Every game day.
Who are you
most Who you watching?
Curious.
Who you watching?
Where will your eyes be?
That's right. Who is the guy tonight?
Who are you most
I know.
curious?
I got an easy one.
Most curious.
Easy.
After he's curious.
Well, after yesterday's report, there's going to be a guy that I think, is he going to play? The guy that is the focus of trade reports?
I don't
know, probably for a series.
All right.
This is the easiest game of all for me to answer that question.
Really?
Easiest game of all.
Okay, well, don't answer it just yet. Who you watching tonight? That's the text. That's the poll question for the 50-yard line seats to see the Seahawks and the Cardinals on December the 31st. Who you watching tonight? Who your eyes fixed on? Who you curious to watch tonight in the fourth and final preseason game? Jason Lockenfora will answer the question: can the Seahawks get anything for Jermaine Kearse?
Here's some lint.
Why would anybody, and let's not make this about Jermaine Kearse.
Here's a paperclip over here.
Here's the obvious question of the morning, which is, and this is not about Jermaine Kearse, this is about anybody in that situation. Why would any team give anything more than something that they were going to cut for any player that's available right now, today, pending these roster cuts?
The answer is probably not.
They wouldn't.
No.
It doesn't make any kind of sense.
Unless
the only people that are being traded right now or being offered right now are guys that you're going to cut anyway, which people are saying, okay, well, I can pick him up as a free agent.
Like Joe Hayden.
Yeah. And by the way, doesn't Jermaine Kearse's contract come with him if you trade for him right now?
The bonus money does not.
Well, no. What the team has to pay would be the parameters of his current contract if they pick him up as a trade, right?
Another team has to pay his base. The Seahawks would still have to pay his signing bonus.
Well, the signing bonus...
It counts against the Seahawks cap.
Yeah, the signing bonus is paid.
Right, but I'm talking in terms of salary cap.
And I'm not talking in terms... I didn't ask in terms of salary cap. I'm asking in terms of salary.
Yeah.
Whatever his salary is. What is his salary? Whatever his salary is. Doesn't a team that acquires him right now have to pay his salary?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Doesn't that very same team, if they acquire him on Saturday after the Seahawks cut him, can't they pay him whatever they want of him, including the league minimum?
Yeah.
They can negotiate the salary.
Jermaine Kearse's base is $2.2.
$2.2 million.
His signing bonus is $1.8.
Why in the world of Slickhawk would any team be willing to give him $2.2 million for the season when they can sign him after the Seahawks cut him, assuming the Seahawks cut him, and pay him a lot less than $2.2 million?
Because they have to compete with 31 other teams
to try to get his services.
Yes.
Okay. And is it worth it? Is it worth it to not have to compete to pay the $2.2 million for Jermaine Kearse?
Some team, it only takes one.
And all it takes is one, Ronnie. All right. Thursday morning on 950 KJR, very busy show, debates and phone polls and 50-yard line seats to see the Cardinals, Seahawks, and Jason Lockenfora, and I believe Greg Steve Phillips.
No,
Steve Phillips.
No, Steve Phillips.
I got a special email right here that says Steve Phillips at 7:10 with exclamation marks.
I got the same one. It was very exciting.
You can't change when it has exclamation marks. If you would have just put a period next to his name, you could change. Okay. You can't change with exclamation marks.
I'll keep that in mind next time.
What the hell happened? School starting today?
Yeah, something with his kid, and then he's got to.
My kid's school start today.
Oh,
first day of school today. Yeah,
before Labor.
I got a high school sophomore.
Wow, you're old.
Can you believe that?
No,
I got a high school sophomore.
Why did they start?
And a new middle school. I got nobody in elementary school anymore.
Why do they start 2 days before Labor Day weekend?
I have my theory on it. 6 sliding away. Slip sliding away. It's hard to sing one song when another one's playing.
That's true.
Not that I can sing a song anytime, Mitch's melody. Boy, this is a big morning montage sheet you got here. It's a whopper.
He's got more energy now because he's lighter.
I think he was being sarcastic.
I think he's got the morning montage.
I don't have. Oh, wait, I do have one.
I think he's got the morning montage on a diet also.
Yeah,
he's been losing weight.
It's skinny.
There was not a lot from yesterday.
Slip sliding away. You want to double up on the Ariel Miranda bet?
No, but I might want to buy out.
Buy out. What's it at now?
Oh, he's
got to be up close to 5 now, right?
He's proving every start out or virtually every start out that he's a marginal starting pitcher in Major League Baseball. And here he was again giving up 4. By the way, how many home runs has he given up this year? He's got to lead
more
baseball.
than anybody.
He's got to lead the world
He's
in
given
giving
up
home
35 home runs.
And how many innings?
150.
Oh my God.
That's one every 4 innings.
Look at that's got to be
crap.
not only number one, but like by a landslide.
All right, his ERA is now 4.85. I still got a shot. I
No,
can get
you
it under
don't.
4.5. I can get it under 4.5.
No,
You can
you
do that.
can't.
Two good outings and he's under 4.5.
That's wrong.
What do you mean it's wrong?
All right. So how about 6 innings? 6 innings, 2 earned runs. Is that a good outing?
Yeah.
No, I mean 2 really good outings.
No,
I need like 6 shutout innings.
2 perfect games.
No, I need like 6. I need like 6 shutout innings twice, and he's under 4 or 5.
All right. The guy, 6 shutout innings. That's a little unreasonable at this point. That you're going to get twice from him in a row.
Not if he goes to the bullpen.
I still don't think it'll work. I still don't think it'll go under 4-5. 2 6 innings.
I can do the math. Who's given up the most home runs?
Just add 12 innings to his current total and divide by the runs by his total plus 12 innings. Okay. And multiply times 9.
I will.
Ariel Miranda gives up 4 home runs yesterday.
He hammers this again. Pull side, deep left field. Gone. 2-run homer. Wellington Castillo. He has been a
He had
pain.
4 hits. Wellington
3
Castillo.
RBIs today for him. His 16th home run. 46 runs batted in for a guy who had a quick cup of coffee with the Mariners back in 2015. That's hit deep to left. We told you this ballpark yields more home runs than any place in the big leagues. Line drive home run, Craig Gentry, his 2nd of the season. 3rd home run given up by Miranda today.
Not only is he number 1 in the American League.
Come on, nobody in the National League's giving up more home runs.
But not only is he number 1 in the American
crap.
League.
He's not number 1 in the American League. He's number 1 in baseball.
The gap between him and number 2 in the American League is the same as the gap between 2 and 8 in the American League. All right, let's check all of Major League.
Oh, come on. It's not even close.
He wins!
By a landslide.
By 3.
Only by 3?
Yeah.
Who's
John Lackey, Ricky Nolasco, and Rick Porcello have all given up 32.
The Porcello promise.
Good Lord, Aaron.
All I ever did was mentioned Ariel Miranda as like a marginal 4 or 5 star. I used to put him in the breath with the other 4 and 5 starters on the team, and you used to get so mad at me. Why do you put him in that?
Well, you used to rip on him every time he was going to pitch, and you were like, "Oh, it's Ariel Miranda today."
No, you kept on saying, "You're not being fair. Why are you lumping him into the 4 and 5 guys? You got to lump him in with the Paxtons and the other guys."
Well, you didn't say it was Paxton.
You didn't like that I was lumping him in with the guys that were like number 4 and 5 starters on this team. Now, I asked.
Well, you didn't think he was a rotation guy.
Okay,
I think he's definitely a rotation guy.
No, I thought he was a marginal number 4 or 5 starter. Now you want them to have him in the rotation starting next year? Ariel Miranda?
Well, what are their other options?
Are you as a Mariner fan going to be happy with Ariel Miranda in the rotation starting next year? Yes or no? Simple question. Slick Hawk, yes or no?
I mean,
you got to tell me. Tell me who my options are.
Is he
What's
fixed?
my other options?
I'm not giving you options.
Ariel Miranda?
I'm just saying to you if the Mariners next year go head into the season with Ariel Miranda as one of the starting 5 pitchers, you're going to be okay with that?
Yeah.
You think they can win that way? I do too. I think maybe as a 5.
Yeah,
that's it.
5. The problem
that's it.
But is he surrounded by other 5 starters?
Yeah.
That's the question.
J.J. Watt on the NFL's decision to cancel a preseason
I think it's
game.
the right decision. I think it's everybody here is obviously most concerned about their families, their friends, the city of Houston back home. So I think it's extremely important that we get home as quickly as we possibly can. I know we're all very excited to get back there and see our people, but then also to start helping. I know my guys, the team has been incredible throughout the whole thing. Everybody's asking how they can help. Everybody's asking what they can do. And I think we're just very, very excited to get back there, be with our city, and help our city rebuild.
He's raised almost $10 million now.
Ellen DeGeneres gave him $1 million.
Yeah.
God, the pictures are just heartbreaking, ladies and gentlemen. It is just so sad to see homes destroyed and lives lost. And God. And, it's Houston, Texas. You know what I mean? It's typically you're seeing film and footage of a small town, and I'm sure there's a lot of small towns outside of Houston that are affected, but we're seeing like downtown Houston, Texas. Isn't Houston like one of the biggest cities in America?
Yes.
Like at least
top
population,
5.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
What's the top 5 market? Top 6 market?
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right
big.
behind the Chicago's, LA's, and New York's.
It's big. So sad and heartbreaking to see that part of the country just struggle. I mean, it's night after night.
Did you ever go through that?
8.
A big
Houston's
one when
8.
you were in Florida?
Oh, yeah. But
Andrew?
never with the destruction that you've seen the one in New Orleans and the one in Houston and some of the other ones have. But it's hard, man. It's really sad. To me, it's really sad. All right, Steven Strasburg not only pitched, but hit last night.
Here's the pitch to Strasburg, driven to the air to deep right center field. Yelich going back, way back, looking up. It is gone. Goodbye. Steven Strasburg with his 2nd home run of the year. Bang. Zoom goes Steven Strasburg. A home run to get the Nationals on the board. And it is Washington 1, Miami 0.
The curling elbow,
Danny Valencia.
Yeah, Danny Espinosa. You gotta love when Steven Strasburg out-hits Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah.
In the same game, and strikes him out, pitches him, and hits him. Out pitches him, out hits him.
Strasburg 1, Stanton 0.
Kyle Schwarber.
Schwarber drives one in the air, deep right field. This ball's got a chance at the wall. Home run. 2-run home run, Kyle Schwarber. His 2nd in the last 3 innings. And the Cubs now lead 15-3.
Jeez, 15-3. It was the Bears over the Steelers last night. 17-3 final score. The Twins continue to do what the Mariners can't. They just
angle at the wall. It is up and gone. A home run. Multi-homer night for Rosario. 1 to left and now to the berm in dead center. And the Twins lead 6-0.
2 home runs, numbers 611 and 612 for Albert Pujols.
Albert launches one out to straightaway center. He's done it again. Big fly for Albert Pujols. 2nd home run of the night. Now he's tied with Jim Thome for 7th all-time.
How about that? 7th all-time in Major League home run history. Albert Pujols, and he's hitting like $190 this season.
Is he really?
Well, he's gotten better, but yes, he's had a very bad
low 200s. I'm being.
He was hitting $190 for a long time.
Yeah.
Mike Napoli put the Rangers a game above the Mariners in the standings as well.
Swinging a high drive, well-hit ball deep out into left field. Fisher's going back. He's turning to look. It is gone. For Mike Napoli, his 28th home run of the year. The Rangers lead 6-1.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't get it right.
What?
No way we picked the Twins.
No.
One of the showdown questions was who's going to win the wild cards.
Yeah, we went Red Sox
No way.
and Royals.
No, we didn't go Red Sox. Yankees.
Yankees and Royals. We were thinking about Red Sox. We went Yankees and Royals.
Yeah, we were considering making the Yankees the divisional champions and putting the Boston Red Sox.
I thought we did that.
No, but I think I talked you out of that.
Oh.
How far though?
But there's no way we
Royals
picked the Twins, the Twinkies.
Nobody did.
No.
Yeah, but that's not good enough for us anymore. The whole nobody did anything. That's not going to gain us any ground on anybody. We need some more. We see less nobody dids.
I'm just mad. We had a real chance with the whole Kenny Easley thing, and that just passed us by.
Oh,
because everybody lost points, or we could have gained points if we had got that.
Well, we had to know. We were our heads were in the clouds.
Yeah.
Because we didn't know about or we didn't remember. Either we didn't know or didn't remember about the difficulties between him and Steve Largent, remember? We picked Steve Largent as the guy that he was going to refer to.
Right, but only because at least I thought he would just name the rest of the Seahawks Hall of Famers that were there.
But had we known of the Steve Largent, Kenny Easley falling out that lasted for many years over Largent crossing the picket line, and they didn't talk.
Yeah.
Then I don't think we would have taken Steve Largent. We would have picked somebody else. Would have said Jacob Green or somebody.
Oh,
and by the way, Jacob Green was the winner.
If we had just said Jacob Green.
Jacob Green, his co-defensive player. Red Sox increased their lead to 5.5.
Softliner caught by Devers. The ball game is over. The Red Sox, with a victory today, pick up a game and a half on the Yankees. They sweep the Toronto Blue Jays. The final here tonight, Boston 7 and Toronto 1.
15 minutes away from the Seahawks at 7. Is Greg Bell in Oakland, or is he here?
He's here.
Here. He's going to Oakland later today?
Yeah.
For the big fourth and final preseason game?
Yes, he is.
Seahawks and the Raiders.
Not all important?
No, not all
preseason
important.
Game?
I think
Jason
it's very
Luckman,
important.
15 minutes from right now, you'll tell us why. 15 minutes from right now, Greg Bell, Seahawks at 7. Seahawks insider Greg Bell. Schnozzes and texting polls, and Jason Lock and 4 live at 8 o'clock, and an opportunity to win 50-yard line seats to see the Cardinals and Seahawks at 8:28 this morning. Debates. We'll introduce you to the poll question. You know the poll question by now because it's a game day. It's a preseason game day, and there's a traditional preseason game day poll question on 950 KJR. Mitch in the morning, Dick Vane, Slick Hawk. Nate. We're finding out this morning that everybody's withering away around us.
Oh, jeez.
Nate's lost. Nate came in here and he told us he lost 20 pounds out of his face this month.
Out of his face?
A lot. Yeah.
That's the only place he lost anything?
I don't know that that's the only place, but he just informed us that since the beginning of August, he's lost 20 pounds out of his face. That was one hell of a big face.
His ass is still big, but his face is skinny.
Oh, wow. Jesus. Thanks a lot for that visual. Slick Hawk is now not eating the fast food anymore, drinking lots of water and powdered drinks and shakes, and goes to the Ram restaurant on the house. Goes to the Ram restaurant on the house yesterday. Doesn't have a beer, doesn't have a piece of bread, doesn't have anything.
Could have torn that place up.
And it was 2-for-1 burger day. I was going to get him a burger.
It was very tempting.
I think I'm going to rename you Slick Hawk Bird Mickless. You eat like a bird.
The bird.
The bird.
The bird.
The bird.
You know what's really
Everybody's
satisfying,
withering away.
and I'm surprised by it?
What's that?
You take a spinach salad. You can do this, and it's good for what I'm doing. You can take a spinach salad.
What do you mean good for what you're doing? I thought you said you weren't doing anything.
I'm not doing it,
specific.
but I'm saying for what I'm doing.
Okay, for what you're doing.
For what I'm doing.
Yeah, August 7th.
You put a little, like maybe a little bacon in there, some shrimp. Do up some shrimp.
Right.
You know, some shrimp that's done in maybe some garlic or whatever. Put all that in there. A little blue cheese crumble, bacon ranch. It's a nice little salad. Tomato.
That's good. Doesn't sound all that healthy, but it's good.
It's healthy enough. It's a spinach salad. I mean,
all right, who are we watching tonight? Not don't answer the question specifically, but let's give some options. These people they want their 50-yard line seats, and they were like, wait a second.
How about a guy you haven't seen yet this preseason? How about CJ Prosise?
Is he going to play?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we thought he was going to play 2 weeks ago. We thought so.
Yeah, we won't be sure until we actually see him.
We'll do the Seahawks at 7 in 7 minutes, and we'll find out that answer. But I read late last night.
Here we go.
That
Not again.
That Thomas Rawls and C.J. Prosise are now officially healthy enough to play tonight. Whether they will play tonight is a different question altogether. And that will be part of the Seahawks at 7. So you may be watching for C.J. Prosise, and the game may come and go, and you may be still sitting there on your couch waiting for C.J. Prosise to play.
Tonight could be the Eddie Lacy extravaganza.
I don't know. I think you're going to see a lot of Davis tonight.
Yeah.
And you're going to see some Carson tonight.
Maybe some Trey Madden carrying the ball.
But I don't think you're going to see. Give us some names. Give people some choices. Give them some options when they call in at 8:28 this morning.
Wide receiver core, McKissick.
Moore. He's now a running back.
Well, but
37.
He has a running back number. Oh,
wow. 37.
37?
I think they gave him 37.
Oh, wow.
Anybody ever wear 37 before here?
You can't give a running back 37.
Watch me. I can give a running back 37.
Come on.
I'll give a water boy 37.
They're not retiring that number then, are they?
37.
If he goes in the Hall of Fame, they are.
I thought somebody told me 37. I think it was Greg Bell who told me 37.
People have worn 45 before.
Don't hold me to that. Don't hold me to 37, but I think it's 37. Yeah, McKissick's going to be
number 15.
You going to watch number 15?
I'm gonna watch number 15.
Last chance?
God, he was good last week.
You're going to
Last chance?
I mean,
is that it?
Might
number
be the last
15?
time we see 15.
Is this going to be the last time we ever see number 15, Jermaine Kearse, wearing a Seahawks uniform?
The man with the 3 greatest catches in Seahawks history.
Are you and Hugh going to drive him to the airport if he gets traded?
Oh, yeah. They're going to push him onto the plane.
The Seahawks at 7. We'll ask all these questions. Plus, I didn't love the tenor of the quote from Pete Carroll about Tyler Lockett, even though he said what we want him to say. I'm starting to feel like Tyler Lockett's not going to play against the Green Bay Packers. We'll ask Greg Bell next on 950 KJR. Some Seahawks news on this Thursday morning.
Yeah?
The ESPN report that the Seahawks are trying to trade Jermaine Kearse, which looks like it marks the end of his run here in Seattle, making some people a lot happier than other people. Mariners find another way to lose, 8-7 to the Orioles. Blow a 6-2 lead, now 66-68. That magnet at 500 better start working.
Is this thing on?
Now 4 back of wild card number 2 Minnesota with 28 to play. And there are 4 teams between the M's and Minnesota. 4 teams between the M's and Minnesota. Day off, then a 9-game homestand. Oakland, Houston, and Los Angeles better win 7 or more of the 9.
Oh, yeah.
7 or more. 7 and 2.
Now you can't.
No more 6 and 3s and 5s and 4s.
Nope.
No more settling. Pete Carroll says that Thomas Rawls and C.J. Prosise are now healthy enough to play. Whether they'll play or not is a question for our next guest. I'm kind of interested in seeing DJ Alexander play, the guy that they acquired from Kansas City while you were eating shrimp for Kevin Pierre-Louis. Didn't take long for Joe Hayden to land, a few hours to be exact. The Steelers signed him on the same day that the Browns got rid of him. 3 years, $27 million. The Cavs get an extra second-round pick from Boston because of the Isaiah Thomas hip injury. Albert Pujols connects for number 611, 612, and that ties Jim Thome for the 7th all-time. The Florida Gators, have you been following this story?
Yeah, they got 10 guys out now?
Now 10 guys suspended for the opener against, Michigan.
Oh.
All stemming from using the student ID cards to buy merchandise and then sell them for cash. Couple of days after the loss of former Michigan State coach Judd.
Wait, you can't do that?
So they got discounted items because of their student card, and they turn around and sold them at regular prices.
I'm not sure exactly what it is. They
or they got free stuff because they're on scholarship. They might have been able to.
They
might have had student cash on their card that they could use and then sell the stuff.
Just a couple of days after the loss of former Michigan State coach Judd Heathcote, the college basketball world again is mourning this morning the death of Raleigh Massimino, the colorful Villanova head coach that guided the Wildcats to a shocking national championship upset win over Georgetown in 1985. He was 82, and it was the game in 1985, April 1, 1985, where most observers said that Villanova played the perfect game. They had to play a perfect game to have any chance to win. They shot 70 78.6. So 79% from the field to win by 2 over the hated Georgetown Hoyas, who I think were 35-2, with Patrick Ewing in the middle and John Thompson. Raleigh Massimino was at the top of the college basketball world with Easy Ed Pinckney and all those guys on that April 1st night of 1985. Passes away at the age of 82. Hit the button, please. It's the Seahawks at 7.
SeaTac edition.
With Greg Bell. Good morning, Greg.
Hi, good morning. Up earlier than I want to be. How are
you? Where are you, Greg?
Is that a cell phone I hear there,
Where
Greg?
are you, Greg? You might be going to the airport.
This is against house rules, I know. Yeah, I'm at SeaTac.
Are you in?
I'm at SeaTac.
Yeah.
Day of flight. Exhibition games get day of flight boomerang treatment.
All right. Day of flight. And so you fly down to where? San Francisco? Where do you?
Yeah, it's San Francisco. In this case, San Francisco. Yep.
Okay.
Isn't every flight you're taking on the day of the flight?
Yeah, sorry. I get up at 4 a.m. It was day of game. Day of game. This is not the approved way of NFL travel.
Let me tell you something on behalf of Dick Fain. The next time that you're on a flight that's not on the day of the flight, we got a hell of a problem on our hands.
Then you've missed your flight, brother.
Not as big a problem as I would have.
Oh, dear. Well, thank you for braving the travel and being with us for a few minutes this morning to continue our continuing series of the Seahawks at 7. I think what everybody's talking about, or everybody will be talking about this morning on these types of shows today, or maybe they were yesterday. I don't know when the news broke, but the ESPN report, you've by now seen it, Greg, that Jermaine Kearse is being shopped by the Seattle Seahawks. What was your first reaction when you saw that?
Well, I was surprised, and it speaks to two things. One, if an NFL team, this doesn't get out by accident, and the reason why this happens is either friends of Kearse or an agent or NFL teams themselves, the Seahawks themselves in this case, they float this out there to prepare the rest of the league for not necessarily, hey, try to give us a trade offer, but we're about to cut him. Mm-hmm. And if you got any ideas of wanting to sign him, here's your flair that this could happen, so you can strike your own deal with him on short notice. It's a courtesy to the player. Undoubtedly, they have talked to him about this possibility of releasing him before Saturday's cut-down day, or else this wouldn't have gotten out. That doesn't mean this is going to happen. But it does mean that if it's gone this far that a national report is out, that it wasn't by accident, and so I expect something to happen. But I want to say this as well. It's chic and trendy to rip on Jermaine Kearse, and I will say that he has made some of the most ridiculous and important catches in this team's history, and they wouldn't have gone to the second Super Bowl without him, and that when they had to go to someone in overtime in one-on-one coverage against Green Bay in the NFC title game after Russell Wilson threw 4 interceptions his way throughout the course of the regulation, Russell Wilson threw it to Jermaine Kearse. He beat his guy, and they won the Super Bowl. And there would have never been a 1-yard line. Why didn't they give it to Marshawn Lynch if Kearse wasn't on his back making a catch between his legs in that Super Bowl against the Patriots that people have forgotten? Right. And, oh, by the way, this isn't anything anyone wants to listen to either. Kearse has been very good in the community in Seattle.
I want to listen to this. Speak more about this.
He's a Lakewood kid, Lakes High School, went to UW, and when I worked at UW and he was there, everyone trashed him for dropping passes, and he'll never make it anywhere. Well, he made it as an undrafted rookie, not only onto the Seahawks as a special teams guy, as one of the last guys on the roster, a guy who would play in a game tonight with his livelihood at stake, but then makes this second contract, and $13.5 million contract, becomes a starter on a couple Super Bowl teams. And, oh, by the way, is very active in the especially military communities down in the South Puget Sound. He has a foundation, the 15-to-1 Kearse Family Foundation, very strong in the Fort Lewis McCord community, and helping and providing activities, not just for military families in general, but in particular for families of deployed parents, military family members who are gone overseas in war in the last decade. He goes to the families and to those kids and does events for them and gives them backpacks for school. And he's a good guy. And I know that it's not anything anybody wants to hear about their fantasy teams and their team that targets him, and he's got a 50-plus passer rating, whatever Hugh says it is. I just want you to know there's more to this guy, what his passer rating is when Russell Wilson throws to him. And no matter what happens here in the next 48 hours, I think some people should try to remember a piece or two of that, too.
Well stated, and we will remember, and I think those things are very, very, very important. And it's just sometimes hard to separate life as a football player, at least for fans that follow the game, to the tremendous things that the guy has done in the community. So, well stated. Is there any way, in any way, shape, or form now can they keep him? Has the dam broken, and now that the story is out, they've either got to trade him or they got to cut him, or can he return to the team?
He could, but it's tough. I mean, he can read and he can hear, and it's tough. The guy that I'm sure he thought he was, and we've talked about this, Mitch, that he was a trusted part of Russell Wilson's inner circle and had done a lot in Pete Carroll's program, coming up through the weeds to earn a little bit of cachet. And it's this only being the second year of his contract that he signed before last season. This has to be a jolt that would be tough to come back from if nothing happens and they decide to keep him. That's why I said at the beginning that this is a calculated leak. I think it's strong and valid that if it gets this far, the Seahawks know that there may not be no turning back. Yeah. So I expect to talk to him tonight in Oakland, and if he's like he's been in every other interview setting under every condition, he's going to be very upfront and talk about it forthrightly. And some of the worst games he's had, he's been a stand-up guy. I know I sound like a cheerleader for him, but you get to know these guys on a personal basis, covering them year in and year out, and it's a little different tint than maybe some other people have.
Okay, Greg Bell, the Seahawks insider, on the story that's out at ESPN that says that the Seahawks are shopping Jermaine Kearse, which certainly sends a message that they're thinking about cutting him. Before we get off of the Jermaine Kearse story, I've asked this before, I'll ask it again. Do you think when the Seahawks brass makes this decision before it gets out or before they start doing anything, do you think that they consult number 3? We've debated that until we're blue in the face. Is he a security blanket? Is he somebody that number 3 trusts? Well, he's made all those big plays, but there's also some data that might suggest that number 3 doesn't trust him as much as you'd think. Do you think that Russell Wilson was was consulted on this, or is it just they do this and Russell goes along with it?
I think Wilson's status on the team is such that they would inform him, not consult him to the sense that Wilson would dictate the decision, but more of the team saying, hey, we know this has been your guy. You came in with him in 2012. This is what we're thinking of doing, and not asking for his opinion so much as out of respect telling him. I think Wilson has that status. This has happened more than in this situation. He has that status on the team. Uh-huh. But it's not one of these situations where you go, hey, we're thinking of doing this. What do you think? Should we do it or not? And waiting for Wilson's stamp of approval. I don't think any NFL player has that cachet. Maybe not even Tom Brady, the way Bill Belichick runs. So maybe more out of courtesy than anything else.
Okay. Greg Bell's with us, Tacoma News-Tribune, on his way to Oakland. You hear him on his cell phone. He's at the SeaTac Airport getting ready to go to the 4th and final preseason game. Let's talk about that 4th and final preseason game on the Seahawks at 7 with Greg here for just a second. Carroll proclaims Rawls and Procise healthy enough to play, but doesn't, from what I can tell you guys that they are going to play. What's your sense on this, and how important do you think, Greg, it is, or unimportant, that Rawls and Procise get a little action before Green Bay rolls around?
Personally, I don't think it's important at all. And in Procise's case, I think it's almost important to keep him off the field until it counts, given his recent history. Yeah, Carroll yesterday was his typical day before game coy comments, and he said, well, they can play. Well, of course, if they can play doesn't mean they will. And he emphasized the word can a couple times for both Procise and Rawls. I would be very surprised. There's another dynamic tonight that's unlike under previous preseason finales, which speaks to veterans hardly playing, if at all. And that's that there are, instead of 75 guys on the roster tonight, there are still 90 because they didn't have this intermediate cut down to 75. Right. Players Association pushed for it to go from 90 straight to 53. So now you've got 15 more players to look at and give game tape to in this final exhibition than you had at this final preseason game last year. And that means that you got to get 15 more guys in the field and try to give them time. And that means fewer reps for the starters. So, guys like Richard Sherman, I would be surprised if they play at all tonight, or if they even dress. Now, they'll probably go full pads and pregame warm-ups, but that'll be more of a workout. I would be very surprised, guys, if Rawls and Forsythe play at all tonight.
DJ Alexander, is he on the bubble or is he good to go? Is he on the team?
No, he's on the team. He and Tobin, if you trade draft picks, any draft picks, I don't care if it's 7th round, if you trade draft picks, especially John Schneider's regime in training camp, you're intending the guy you trade for to be on the team. Now, they traded Kevin Pierre-Louis, who they may have cut anyway this week, for Alexander, and Alexander hasn't been able to get on the field because he was in that Regenikine circle here the last couple of weeks for his knee. They want to see at least him play and do something, but so he should play tonight. He's a central factor on special teams. I think guys like Nico Thorpe, their job's in jeopardy because of guys like DJ Alexander, Terrence Garvin, that they got in the offseason, veteran special teams players. So, I think strongly that DJ Alexander's on the team.
Okay. And finally, for Greg Bell, before we let him go to Oakland, we're actually going to let him go to Oakland to cover the game. What do you gather by this quote from Pete Carroll? If Locke's ready to go, he'll be involved in special teams. We'll see next week where we are. If he's back, he's back, and we think he's going to be. That's Pete Carroll on Tyler Lockett. Now, I guess whether you look at a glass half empty and half full, you could come to two different conclusions about that quote. What do you think?
Well, I asked him that question. I said, when Lockett comes back, because he hasn't played at all, would he go back to kick returning, or as we've talked about, would a guy like J.D. McKissick get his kick return roles and preserve Lockett? I think it means two things. One, he's hedging a little bit because, remember, Lockett started training camp on the PUP list, physically unable to perform, which means he is eligible to be on the PUP list Saturday to begin the regular season. If for any reason Lockett comes back from the Regenikine circle of power and faith and healing, not fully healed and not totally ready to go, they could put him on the PUP list. That means 6 weeks out. He won't play for the first 6 weeks of the regular season. I don't think that's going to happen, but that option's still there, which is why I think Carroll wasn't unequivocal about it. It did surprise me for him to say, well, when he does come back, he's fully back and we're putting him on special teams and kick returns. That's a little bit of a risky proposition, and he hasn't been on the field since December 24th. But I think the hedging is the fact that they still have a roster option with him if they don't deem him ready. Although, again, if they don't deem him ready for Green Bay, doesn't mean you put him on the shelf for 6 weeks necessarily. He'd have to have had a setback or some red flag come up here in the last couple of weeks for that to happen.
Okay, so as you leave us, would you say it's a feather less than 50% or a feather more than 50% that Tyler Lockett is going to play against the Packers next Sunday?
I would say it's 3 feathers above 50%.
That's a marble.
Feathers. Wow.
Yeah, that's a marble.
I can hardly lift 3 feathers. Okay. All right. I'll do some bench pressing, some 3 feathers. You travel safely, and let me remind you that I'm thankful for all that you're willing to do here at the radio station and here for me on this radio show. Travel safely. We'll see you when you get back.
Thank you, Mitch. I appreciate that. Always fun to talk. Thank you.
All right. There's Greg Bell, the Tacoma News Tribune, who says he thinks it's 3 feathers more than 50% that Tyler Lockett plays against Green Bay. Now, just think of this for a second, because I don't think that I would not have said the same thing.
Okay.
I read Pete Carroll as a guy who's not sure that who's not certain that Lockett's going to be ready to go against Green Bay. If they trade or cut Curse,
and Lockett can't play, think about in the first game of the regular season the names. I'm not saying that you should freak out. This is not because I'm not a big Jermaine Curse guy from a football perspective. But just think. But he is a veteran who's been through the wars.
Just think of the names. I mean, the names have become so familiar with this team, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now it's not Lockett and it's not Curse. Let's just say Lockett doesn't play and Curse gets traded or cut.
Well, Ball and Richardson.
Baldwin, Richardson for the series or two that he can stay healthy. He'll be out of the game. Kason Williams.
Tanner
McAvoy. What a motley crew that will be.
Yeah,
in Green Bay.
In a position that we think is of strength right now on this.
Again, I'm not saying this to project that I think that those are bad options. I'm just saying, God, I'm not used to in the first game talking about.
Yeah, we're used to just plugging and playing.
When Fox puts up the starting lineups and it says Kason Williams and Tanner McAvoy or Paul Richardson. Right. I mean, Doug Baldwin's a familiar name, but I'm like, what really? Mm-hmm. It could be really a different assortment of names at wide receiver maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. Maybe it's a good thing.
Could be.
I just don't trust Paul Richardson.
No,
I don't trust Paul Richardson.
You don't trust his health.
That's right. What happens if Paul Richardson on the first play falls on his shoulder?
He'll break it.
Yeah.
I think the weather.
You got Doug Baldwin.
Okay. I mean, we could go down Paul Richardson, I think, is your starter regardless. So you can replace him with Jermaine Kearse, or you can replace him with Tanner McAvoy. I don't see Jermaine Kearse averaged 2.6 catches per game last year.
Well, I understand he's not going to give you big production, but to Mitch's point, he's a security blanket that you know what you're going to get from him.
What do you mean to Mitch's point?
To Mitch's point that it could be potentially scary without both Jermaine Kearse and Tyler Lockett.
I don't think that was scary. I don't think that was Mitch's point. Mitch's point wasn't that
it sounded like you were like, okay, just remember, if you get rid of Kearse and Lockett doesn't play, then it sounded like a little bit of word of warning.
No, I'm not word of warning. I was just more mentioning and commenting about the names of the guys in the starting lineups on the first. On the first regular season game, it would just be a different cast of characters.
It would.
Your eyes would have to do a little adjusting. I'm not suggesting again that that's a worse option than what we're used to. It's just different to see Tanner McAvoy and Kason Williams catching the passes on the first week in Green Bay. Again, it's like it would almost feel like a preseason game a little bit.
Well, I think there's two Kearse camps on the morning show. There's the Mitch Dick camp, which is, hey, he's not great, but it's not the worst thing in the world if he's on the team. And then there's the Slick Hugh camp that's just like, get the gun out and shoot him.
I've always said this. I don't mind Jermaine Kearse as a fourth wide receiver. But they're not paying him like a fourth wide receiver.
Right,
and he hasn't been in a role of a fourth wide receiver.
And they're not going to pay him like a fourth wide. They're either going to pay him like a starting wide receiver or they're not going to have him on the team.
The Seattle Mariners have a new pitcher. We'll profile him. The Steelers have a new cornerback. We'll profile him. And the Florida Gators have nobody to play against Michigan. We'll tell you the story on 9:50. Okay, Steve Russell's going to answer your questions. You guys had questions earlier.
We were full of
I'm going to let a pros pro answer them in Gainesville, Florida, ESPN Gainesville. Steve Russell, who's been kind to me over the years. There's no question about that, both in person and on the phone. Good morning, Steve.
Hey, good morning.
Steve Russell in Gainesville. Tell everybody out here in Seattle what these guys, what did they do with the merchandise they were selling? What exactly has gotten all these Florida Gators in such hot water?
Well, right now there is an ongoing University Police Department investigation. The simplest way, I think, to explain this is allegedly the players were buying items at the campus bookstore with their student ID cards. Well, with those, they didn't apparently have sufficient funds for the transactions. They later sold the items for cash. That's what we believe is happening. So of the 10 players that are suspended for this game, 9 have been implicated in that particular thing.
How are they able to buy something that they don't have the credit on the cards to purchase?
That is the $64,000 question nobody seems to be answering. UPD just continues to say this is an ongoing investigation. In fact, the 2 players that were suspended yesterday, that came down quickly because there's an SEC teleconference in which Coach McElwain was on, and he was raving about the running back Jordan Scarlett, and then just a couple of hours, 3 hours later, he was suspended. So, obviously in this ongoing investigation, they found something with Scarlett and the wide receiver Rick Wells, but nobody seems to be answering that question.
How good was Florida supposed to be, and would they have had a chance to beat Michigan with these guys?
I'm going to tell you this. I think Florida has a chance to beat them without them. I really do believe Florida's got a chance to be good. Now, they just named a starting quarterback yesterday, and that had been a subject of much debate after the spring game, throughout the summer. In fact, last week, McElwain said, all three would play in the Michigan game that were vying for the starting position. So they settled on a redshirt freshman who has all the physical tools, but he hasn't played a down of football at the collegiate level. So, we'll see. But Michigan has a lot of inexperience, but Harbaugh's recruited well. So now we're going to see these recruiting classes. Florida's not recruited well in terms of the recruiting rankings. Michigan has. We may see in this game where that falls because both teams have inexperience. The Gators, not on offense, but certainly on the defensive side of the ball, lost a lot of guys to the draft.
Okay. Steve Russell is with us from Gainesville. The Gators are going to get these 10 players back. Is it a one-game suspension? Is it different suspensions for different guys, or is it all one game?
We don't know. The only thing that we do know is that they were suspended from all team-related activities. So there's not any definitive information on, will one player serve one game, one player serve two. I think we'll know more Monday when McElwain talks about Florida's next game. But as of now, no idea. Nobody said anything.
Okay. Good stuff, Steve. Thanks very much. Steve Russell in Gainesville, Florida, on the 10 Gainesville, University of Florida players that are involved in this scandal where apparently they used their student ID to buy merchandise in the student bookstore. Their IDs didn't have the amount of credit on them that they needed to buy the merchandise, but they bought it anyway. I'm not sure how that happens. And then they take the merchandise and they sell it for cash. And 10 of them will not play against Michigan. I guess that's Saturday. But, boy, the one game, the Florida State-Alabama game, is getting all the play.
Yeah, this is a pretty good one,
There's
too.
a couple of two. Well, this one was supposed.
There's a lot of.
This was supposed to be a good one. I don't know if it's going to end up being a good one with all these guys out, but there are a handful of nice top 25 matchups, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can go through them for you, but we'll do it in a second.
Yeah, there's story number 1 on the Daily Schnoz. Hit it, please.
Here's another late development. The Daily Schnoz.
Mike Claiborne in St. Louis, KMOX Radio. Mike, good morning. Tell us about Mike Leake, please.
Well, that's a good question. Good morning to you. Mike Leake is a strike thrower. He's a good athlete. He's always around the plate. Doesn't walk a lot of people. Works fairly quick. The problem that he's had is location as far as spotting his fastball, where he'd leave it in the middle of the plate a little too much. He's a ground ball pitcher. I think he'll do well in your ballpark. I think the reason why he's there is because he needed to change the scenery. He got off to a terrific start, and then he kind of hit the wall. I'm not sure if he and the manager are on the same page about some things, but he'll give you everything he's got. And he's a guy that was well-liked in the clubhouse. He kind of meshes in fairly well. So he's not going to be a distraction or anything like that. He likes to have fun. But he's a good pitcher with the right ball club. And I think you guys can probably benefit from him. Let's say he's a better acquisition than Marco Gonzalez.
His worst 2 years, seemingly statistically, are the years that he's been in St. Louis. Any Cardinals fans sorry to see him go?
You know what? Here's the thing. Last year he had the shingles, and that really zapped his energy. He was not an effective guy once he contracted it. But you know what? He took the ball every fourth day, and he went out and gave an effort. He was not a guy that people disliked. He was just going through a tough stretch. And I think that maybe a new environment might help. But again, he doesn't have the velocity that he used to have. So I think that's going to be a concern to watch to see if he can get 92. But he's got good movement.
Okay.
He's got a fastball changeup. He throws a knuckle curve from time to time. So I just think a fresh start is going to be good for him, and I would hope Seattle.
$17 million of the $55 million owed, the Cardinals are paying, and I guess that leaves $38 million on the Mariners' books, and they have him for what do we decide? They have him for the end of this year, and then 17, 18, And maybe even or 18, 19, and maybe even 20.
20's the option year.
20's the option year. So what do you think? $38 million for a guy who's going to pitch for a month this year and then a couple of more seasons after that.
Well, you know what? I think the question is, where does he fit in the rotation? He's not a 1 or a 2, but he's probably a 4 or 5. He's got a lot of experience. He's a really good athlete. It's too bad he doesn't swing the bat over there for you. Now, his numbers wouldn't show it here, but you know what? He's a guy that can swing the bat. He can run the bases. You know, if you get in a pinch.
Yeah.
Again, I watched Mike all of his career when he was in the National League with Cincinnati and briefly with San Francisco, and I always found him to be a competitive pitcher. And I don't think that's going to change. I just think he needed to change the scenery. I think he came to St. Louis envisioning one thing, and I think something else appeared, and it really wasn't just something that was going to work for him.
Mike Claiborne in St. Louis, thank you. On Mike Leake, he likes the addition to the Mariners' rotation. He says he's a number 4 or 5 starter. He's very durable. He'll take the ball every 5th day. He does not miss starts. What did we decide yesterday? 30 or more starts in 6 consecutive seasons. But his numbers were not very good. His velocity's down, and he was hit. According to Claiborne, he leaves the ball in bad spots in the strike zone, and he gets hit. Gives up a lot of hits per innings pitched. Story number 3 forthcoming on the Daily Schnoz. 30 seconds. Okay, we were going to go to Pittsburgh for the Steelers adding Joe Hayden. Joe Hayden didn't go far, did he?
No, across the border.
Cleveland to Pittsburgh is not a long trip. In fact, he went to a rival. He went from the Cleveland Browns from being a Pro Bowl-ish, all-pro-ish corner for the Cleveland Browns to being a starting corner perhaps. 3 years, $27 million with the Pittsburgh Steelers within hours. Mm-hmm. He jumps from Cleveland to Pittsburgh, and his chances of making the playoffs in about 2 hours' time
that's a pretty good move.
Go from 0 to like 65. 70 or 75. So not a bad move. Plus he got $7 million to play this year and $27 million overall. The Joe Hayden signing in Pittsburgh was going to be story number 3 on the Daily Schnoz. So why don't we do this? Why don't we get the texts in? We'll give you more time for your text today from the Heritage Distilling text line at 49451. All your texts, dear show ... And the poll question today is the typical poll question on a preseason game day. Tonight's preseason game number 4, and we want to know who you're going to be paying attention to. Give us a name that's curious to you today as you watch preseason game number 4. Is it a guy who no one a day ago, if I would have done this poll 1 day ago, I'm not sure anybody would have said Jermaine Kearse. They probably just would have thought, okay, Jermaine Kearse is going to play a little bit. He's not going to play a lot. Right. I don't know that anybody would have been saying, hey, I'm focusing my eyes on Jermaine Kearse. Well, now, as it appears that Jermaine Kearse is playing his final game as a Seattle Seahawk, will he be the answer? Who are you looking at? Who are you curious to watch tonight, and why? 49451 or any other text that you have on the radio program on 950K.
Well, that's the news. I'm out of here.
Okay, Jason Lock and 4 in about 13 minutes on what the Seahawks can get for Jermaine Kearse, if anything. Bag of peanuts. I just don't. I'll say back what I said at 6 o'clock. Guys that become available right now, they become available for a reason. And I don't know.
I've got a well-worn Starbucks.
I don't see them getting anything. If you think they're going to get an offensive lineman that's worth anything, they're only going to get an offensive lineman that somebody's going to cut.
Yeah, it's in the same boat as...
Yeah, well, I'll say this. The New Orleans Saints, Seattle cut Jari Evans around this time last year. The Saints picked him up, and he was like a 16-game starter, and he did very well for them.
What does that mean?
You could find diamonds in the rough.
Oh, I'm not saying you can't find diamonds in the rough. I'm just saying that you're not going to get anything for Jermaine Kearse.
No. Oh, no.
You're not going to get anything.
Would they like my well-worn Starbucks coffee mug?
Your well-worn Starbucks. I don't think they would take that. I think they want more than that.
They want more than.
So Jermaine Kearse could be playing his final game as a Seahawk tonight.
I think
in a preseason game in Oakland.
I think a GM who is thinking about, Jermaine Kearse, maybe I'll trade for him.
Yeah.
Because they know him and they know the system and the Seahawks and everything.
Right.
I think they would take one look at his Pro Football Reference page, just look at his numbers, and say, I'm not giving up one little thing for that.
Plus, and I understand Dick Fain's point, which is, well, if you trade for him, you don't have to negotiate against other teams to get him in free agency. But still, if you really want the guy, you probably could still get him if you just wait for them to cut him. I mean, if you offer him the most money, he's going to come. I don't know if you're going to offer him the most money.
I just don't see a bidding war for Jermaine Kearse.
If you acquire him now, you have to pay his $2.2 million salary, don't you? If you let them cut him, then you start from scratch. You could pay him whatever you agree with him to pay, right? Mm-hmm. And it's going to be something south of $2.2 million. So, I don't know. I just don't see how anything real constructive is going to come out of this. If John Schneider can pull a rabbit out of his butt, good for him. What do you got? What do you got on the texting line? Dear show, ...
Dear show, if Kearse goes, I'll be glad Wilson is forced to not gravitate to Kearse and maybe trust some of the other guys like Jimmy Graham more often.
Hugh would tell you he doesn't do that.
No, Hugh had some stats to back up his argument, which is he is targeted less than any regular receiver in all the national, something like that in the National Football League. If you look at all the receivers around the NFL, the notion that Russell Wilson looks to him more than others is just categorically untrue.
I would say maybe in the red zone, it seems like he looks to Kearse a lot more.
It does seem that way, doesn't it?
It seems like he just keys right in on him.
Does seem that way.
Not 88, but 15.
It does seem that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dear show, I'm watching Reese Odiombo tonight to see if he's consistent and the rest of the offensive line as well.
That's a good one.
Dear show, Austin Davis, as they need a legit backup.
Boy, Trevon Boykin has gone from Miracle Man in the first preseason game.
The way it works in the preseason.
To now, is he even good enough to be the backup quarterback and Austin Davis going to beat him out? Remember what people were saying about Trevon Boykin after that first preseason game?
We found it.
How good was he in that first? We were like, okay, he's like what did I call him? The singing frog. Hello, my darling. Hello, my darling.
He was so good. My son asked me, he goes, Dad, when is Trevon Boykin going to get to play in the regular season? I was like, do you want Russell to be hurt? And he's like, oh, yeah, I guess you can only play one quarterback.
One quarterback. Son, one quarterback. And he ain't it.
And he ain't it. Dear show, I'm interested in watching Nas and the D-line tonight. With a better interior rush this season, our defense could regain their league-leading form of seasons past.
Okay, I got a Nas Jones vote.
Jones.
Dear show, I will be watching Amara Darboh closely, looking for him to get at least 5 targets.
Oh, my God.
I want to be able to find Amara Darboh first before I can watch him closely.
Well, this Jermaine Kearse news is good news for Amara Darboh, isn't it?
It is.
They're creating a spot for a guy who's done absolutely zilch during the preseason.
Dear show, Hugh and Slick are insane. It would be incredibly stupid to get rid of Jermaine Kearse. He's the Robert Horry of football. He only plays on winners.
Well, he's played on one win.
Yeah, but what they're saying,
Robert Horry played on 6 winners.
If we trade him, then he's going to go to a Super Bowl with somebody else, and we're going to suck, I guess. I guess that's the thought process.
Dear show, how about a schnoz with Condota, Divish, and Stone on Friday for a last word from them?
Okay.
Along the same lines, dear show, how about, I'll be watching Divish and Condota tonight because I want to hear your opinion on the new Seattle Times blockage.
I'll be watching. I lost
Condota
that
and Divish because I want to hear your opinion on the new Seattle Times blockage.
Oh, I have no opinion. That's their business.
Okay.
Dear show, Slick.
If that's the best course for them. Then
that's the best course.
I'll miss the guys, but
we like the guys.
But the Seattle Times has their own policies, and if they don't want their writers on sports radio stations or on sports shows doing regular shows, I get it. I mean, I understand it. I understand where the issues might be and the conflicts might be, and I respect their decision. I don't have any problem with it. I mean, do I have any problem with their decision? I would just say that I'm going to miss Bob and Ryan and Larry Stone, and I think that those guys add something to what we do, and we're going to be worse off without them. That's what I would say. But in terms of the Seattle Times, am I outraged? Am I going to hurl insults at them? Absolutely not. I think this is a very fair viewpoint if this is what they have, and I'll respect that. I'll just miss the guys.
Dear Show, Slick, you need to barter with Mitch. Ask him some personal info to see if he wants to trade info.
Like when he asks you info about your diet or something?
Yeah, or my middle name. Or
No, because then he'll say, Mitch will just say, no, I don't care that much, really, so I'm not going to
I care. I want him to lose weight. I want him to be healthy. I'm a big Mamu fan.
Yeah, but you don't but you don't care enough to give away your personal information in exchange for his personal information. Dear Show, I'm watching Chris Carson. This may be his final audition for regular season playing time.
Well, I think Chris Carson is a man to watch. Mm-hmm. Maybe not tonight, but I think Chris Carson has done what he needs to do. I still think, didn't somebody ask who I think the leading rusher is going to be for the Seattle Seahawks?
That's a showdown question.
Yes, it is a showdown question.
I think Chris Carson's got an outside shot.
Who's leading right now? And who did we vote?
I don't know. I'd have to add up all the...
Well, who did we vote for?
Chris Carson.
Oh, you mean you mean for the preseason? I'm talking about we had a poll question for the regular season.
Yeah, we had a showdown question.
Chris Carson's not going to lead the team in rushing for the regular season.
Should be Rawls.
I don't think he is either. But I don't think it's as far-fetched as you by virtue of the way you just said that is.
Now, if you said who's going to lead the team in rushing in 2018, then maybe I could buy Chris Carson.
I'm just saying.
But not this year.
I'm just saying.
Too many cooks in the kitchen there, Mitchie.
I'm just saying.
A lot of cooks in that backfield.
I believe that if Thomas Rawls either is inadequate or injured, there's a good chance Carson jumps Eddie Lacy in terms of who the leading rusher is on the team. I think they love Carson. I think Pete Carroll loves Carson, and I think that they're looking for a reason to squeeze him in there and make him more of a featured running back. And he won't get the chance as long as Rawls is healthy and playing well.
That's true.
But if Rawls should stumble either way, I think Carson's got a chance to surprise all of you with how much action he gets.
All right.
That's just a guess. Complete guess.
Dear Slickhawk, very happy for you making healthy lifestyle choices, but the only thing I have to say about that is that this better not affect Caleb Crawdad and his bellowing baritone, I do declare.
I do
can't
declare.
I must give my assurances that it will not affect our good friend, Mr. Crawdad, I do declare.
Jason Lockenfor on what the Seahawks can or can't get for Jermaine Kearse if they're really trying to trade him on 950 KJR. Jason Lockenfor is going to do some gloating today. Isn't it interesting that we have Jason Lockenfor on the day after the Orioles sweep the Mariners?
Yeah, didn't we have him on last year, though, when we swept them?
We had to call him, I think.
Oh, we just had him on because we wanted him on?
Mariners find another way to lose, 8-7 to the Orioles. We'll let him gloat.
Wellington Castillo, really?
Yes, Wellington Castillo.
Really? Did he have 4 hits as a Mariner?
Well, he's only here like a week and a half.
Mariners blow a 6-2 lead, 66-68 now is their record. 4 back of wild card number 2 with 28 to play. Added complication, 4 teams between the M's and Minnesota, so Mariners are truly slip-sliding away as we approach September. Day off today, then a 9-game homestand. Oakland, Houston, Los Angeles. I'm Van O'Reilly. Better win 7 or more of the 9 games. ESPN reporting that the Seahawks are trying to trade Jermaine Kearse. We're going to ask Jason Lockenfor if the Mariners or the Seahawks can get anybody for Jermaine Kearse at this stage of the game. I'm assuming his answer is going to be a no.
No.
Pete Carroll says that Thomas Rawls and C.J. Prosise are now healthy enough to play tonight against the Raiders.
Yeah.
Though it's unclear whether either will see the field. DJ Alexander could finally see some extended playing time tonight at linebacker. I'm interested in that. And on special teams, where he was a Pro Bowler with the Chiefs before the Hawks acquired him for Kevin Pierre-Louis.
Was he a Pro Bowler last season?
Yes.
Wow.
In only his second year.
Wow. There's the plight of Tyler Lockett. He's not going to play tonight, but how about next week, Pete Carroll? Quote, if Locke's ready to go, he'll be involved in special teams as well. But we'll see next week where we are. If he's back, he's back. And we think he's going to be. Now, without the we think he's going to be, it sure does not make me feel good about...
Sounds like a feather under 50%, definitely.
Tyler Lockett's chances to play next week in the opener against Green Bay. It didn't take former Pro Bowl cornerback Joe Hayden very long to land on his feet, just a few hours to be exact. The Steelers signed him on Wednesday to a 3-year deal worth $27 million, 7 of which for this season. So he stays in the AFC North. The Cavs get an extra second-round pick from Boston because of the Isaiah Thomas hip injury. Albert Pujols connects for home runs number 611 and 612 last night, which means he's tied Jim Thome for 7th all-time on the all-time Major League home run record list. 7th all-time. Jeez. Albert Pujols, who's had a really bad season, but a good enough season to continue to climb up the home run record list. The Florida Gators have now suspended 10 guys for the opener against Michigan this weekend, all stemming from using student ID cards to buy merchandise and sell them for cash. Now, what we heard from Steve Russell is they were buying this merchandise with their student ID cards, despite that their cards didn't have the cash on them, the value on them to be able to buy them. And so my question is, why was the bookstore giving them the ability to buy these things if they truly didn't have the money on their card to cover the purchase? I'm a little bit confused on that. I'm
just used it as a credit card instead of a debit card, huh?
Yeah, it's supposed to. What I remember about my card was, but we'd have to put money on the card,
right? And
then you would slip it through, and it would show you how much money you've got left on the card. It was a little.
They had computers back then.
Yeah, they had computers back then. And just a couple of days after the loss of former Michigan State coach Judd Heathcote, the college basketball world is mourning the death of Rollie Massimino, the colorful Villanova head coach who guided the Wildcats to a shocking, and when I say shocking, national championship upset win over Georgetown. I mean it. April 1, 1985. He was 82 years old. We'll miss Rollie Massimino. I remember April 1, 1985 like it was yesterday. The hated Georgetown Hoyas. And I don't say that just because I'm a Syracuse guy. I say it because back then, I'm sure you recall that if you weren't a Georgetown fan, you hated Georgetown. You hated Patrick Ewing. You hated John Thompson. You hated Michael Graham. You hated Reggie Williams, David Wingate, that whole crew.
Fred Brown.
Freddie Brown. I don't know that you hated Freddie Brown. He threw the ball to James Worthy for the ultimate choke in a college national championship game. But you hated Georgetown. And Villanova, I want to say Villanova had 10, 12, 14 losses that year. Georgetown was like 35-2 going into the national championship game. Villanova was given zero chance. People wrote, Villanova's been given zero chance. They've got to play a perfect game to even keep it close. Well, as Slickhawk documented earlier on the radio program, the Villanova Wildcats on that night shot 79%, 78.6% from the field. They only took 28 shots the whole night.
That's even more incredible. How do you go?
Were they all layups?
They slowed them down. They slowed them down. I guess there was no shot clock. They slowed them down. They only had 5 guys who scored. They only took 28 shots from the field. They made 21 of them. And they won the game 64-62. Did you say 64? 66-64. 66-64.
Yeah, 66-64.
They took a lot of free throws.
66-64.
They scored 66 points and only had 22 field goals.
Tell me
they were 22 of 27 from the free throw line.
Free throws.
Tell me about the margin of error when you have to shoot 79% from the field to win by 2 in the national championship game in a college basketball.
The margin of error is one more missed shot, and you go to overtime.
Rollie Massimino was the engineer of that team with Ed Pinckney and the McLean guys and Harold Jensen and Presley. Was it Dwayne Presley? Is that right?
Harold
Presley.
Dwayne McLean.
Gary McLean, Ed Pinckney.
Yes.
Who did I say? And Jensen. What was Jensen's first name?
You said it before.
Yeah, I thought
earlier you got it right.
He was the white guy in the corner who shot the I don't know, the 3-point.
Was it Harold Jensen?
I thought it was Harold Jensen. I don't know. What are we doing here? Are we going to have Jason La Canfora?
Yeah, he's just a couple minutes away from his landline.
What the heck happened?
Drop the kids off.
I haven't gotten the topics either. Where are the topics?
Oh yeah, I forgot we do that.
Yeah.
It's been so long. He dropped the kids off.
At the pool?
I can hear him talking, by the way.
No, it's his answering machine. He dropped the kids off.
Yeah.
He was going to be back in time, but there was a lot of traffic. He says he thinks somebody might have got shot or something. So so he's on his way back. He's going to be there any second.
Yeah.
So
believe me, and if you don't think he's rushing back to get on the phone to be on with us this morning after the Orioles swept the Mariners, after all the grief that he took last year, after having to ship Natty Bose.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely not dodging this interview.
I mean, if there was one interview that he was going to do all year, it's going to be this one. And I'm just going to, just let him go. I don't know that he'll. Maybe he'll rub it in with his silence. Maybe he'll be understated in the Orioles 3-game sweep of the
43-6, Mitch. That was the Mariners' record heading into the series when they scored 6 runs or more. So if I'd have told you,
yes,
Mitchell Reed Levy, they're going to score 6 runs in 2 out of 3 games this series.
Yeah.
How's their odds of winning the series when they're 43-6 under those circumstances, and they lose them both?
So now they're 43-8.
Yes.
In games that they've scored 6 or more runs, they're 43-8.
Jeez, 0-2 when they score 6 runs.
Is it over?
Well, I told you this morning.
Can we put a fork in them?
Well,
is it too early to put a fork in them? 4 games back with 5 games in between them and the number 2 wild card, or is it not over?
The way I described it was we have this sounder on both the 5:30 show and this show. When the season's over, we play the Dead Man Walking sounder. Now we did not play that this morning, and I don't think we were going to play
it. Jenga?
That would be the same thing. Jenga and the Dead Man Walking is the same thing. It's like you got the Dead Man Walking, right? Jenga. It's teetering. I mean, that thing is almost the Leaning Tower of Pisa. One more bad homestand here, a sub 500 homestand. It's absolutely Jenga.
Was it not last week that Jason La Canfora called us from a cell phone, went on the air, and told us, were you here, that he's 2 minutes away from being home? He's going to change over to his landline in the 2 minutes, and then 20 minutes later.
Hey, look,
it's time for our weekly
that's last week.
Sports.com's NFL Insider, Jason La Canfora.
But like you said, he's going faster.
Pizza, homegrown in the Northwest. Now, here's Mitch in the morning.
Because he wants to be on this week. If I see Boom Boom Mancini one more time, I'm going to throw something at the TV.
How about Wellington Castillo?
Sick of that guy.
Why don't you buy a couple T-shirts?
No. Don't want any T-shirts.
Boom, boom.
Want me to help you with that, buddy?
What's it with you being 2 minutes away from the house?
Hey, I was no minutes away on the cell, bro. I was there. I was talking to Slickhawk loud and clear.
Wasn't it just last week that you called on the cell and you said, listen, I'm going to be 2 minutes. Let's just start it with this. And then by the end of the show, you still weren't home yet and you were complaining there was too much traffic. That wasn't the case?
True.
No?
I think that's an exaggeration, but that you are prone to hyperbole. So that's.
Now, wait a second. You didn't say you were 2 minutes away?
I did say that part, but then the whole 20 minutes later I was home part is not correct.
Oh, well,
I was home before the end of the segment.
Oh, maybe I just didn't know that. Maybe I just didn't know.
Well, because you really couldn't tell the difference between the cell or the landline, I guess, is what the point of that would be.
I don't think that's the point. Jason La Canfora, go ahead. You want to gloat a little bit?
Nah,
You got a little revenge after last year.
It was a nice sweep. It was a nice sweep.
You're right in it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, nobody's run away and hid, and 7 wins in a row. What, you guys lost 5 in a row? The Yankees have lost 7 of 8 or something like that. The Angels came back to earth. So Minnesota's been plugging along. But, yeah, I mean, I think the O's are only 2.5 behind the Yankees now. So who knows?
Didn't you bury him last week?
He did bury him.
Like Jenga.
He buried him.
He pushed over the Jenga structure.
They're still rolling Ubaldo Jimenez and Chris Tillman out there and Wade Miley every 5 days. I mean, it's hard.
Where can I get Ubaldo Jimenez, Wade Miley? Where can I get those guys? I'd love to have those guys.
Hopefully you could get Ubaldo on the waiver wire pretty soon, because his start yesterday should be the end. There's no reason, but especially with rosters expanding, there's no reason to ever pitch him again.
He didn't get any help yesterday. He had a ground ball that hit the bag for 2 runs, and he had a pop-up to center that scored 2 runs, too.
He's really bad.
Right.
Ubaldo Jimenez is really
If they didn't get him out when they got him out, they would have been that quickly would have been 8 or 9, and it would have been lights out. And Buck has had way too long of a hook with his crappy starting pitchers. So I was glad to see him do the right thing. Castro's a stud. He's got a rubber arm. No, I mean, like I said, all these teams are flawed. Go and look at who wins 7-game series in Major League Baseball. Okay, yeah, the wild card, they fool you with that. That's fool's gold. Then you play a best of 5 where anything can happen. Who wins best of 7 series in
pitching?
Pitching. Good teams with massive payrolls.
Oh,
I mean, the Royals are the one exception, but they had the world's greatest bullpen ever and good enough pitching. But it's the Giants, it's the Red Sox, it's the Yankees. I mean, it's like that. So that's why, like, if you're really discerning about this, and you've been through this now with the Orioles pretty much the last 5 years, like, they're always pretty much good enough to get to this point. But how are they going into Cleveland or Fenway or Minute Maid and taking 4 out of 7 from them when once you get past Bundy and Gossman, there's nothing there.
Yeah. I wouldn't worry about that. Get into the series. Just get into the
series.
Look,
I'm rooting for him. It's great,
get into
but
the series.
I'm not,
Get into the series.
It is what it is. If Dan Duquette hadn't given away so many quality starters, or at least above average starters, at least guys who can get outs in this league, then I would believe that they're built for October, but they're really not. They're been the same team for 5 years. When they get hot hitting home runs, they can go on tears, and then they will all cool off, and there is no pitching to sort of subsidize it when you're in those down periods. Right now, they're hot, and they're great at home. They play in a bandbox, and they're a slow-pitch softball team. So there's a reason why they've got the most – I think them and the Red Sox, I think, have the most home wins in the American League. But they have a 10-game road trip coming up.
Yes, they do.
So that's why, I've been down this road before. So I'm pumped. It's great, but I'm not kidding myself.
All right, with all due respect to the Orioles, I think people here would like to hear your comments on Jermaine Kearse. The report out that they're looking to move him. That tells us that they're ready to cut him, too.
Yeah. I told you guys a week ago I would have been marketing him then because he wasn't going to make the team, and they have some other deficiencies, and so
Can they get anything for him? Can they get anything for him?
It's hard to get anything for anybody. You know what I mean? Like the Browns couldn't get anything for Hayden. I mean, it's now Kearse doesn't have that kind of a contract, but it's tough, especially the way they're doing it now when each team's about to cut 40 guys. I mean, there's so much out there. How much better is Kearse than, you know what I mean, than what somebody else sees or somebody else they might like. And, and once you start shopping a guy, then everybody knows, well, they're probably just going to cut him anyway, right? So do we really have to give him anything? Or do we just wait for him to be one of the hundreds of guys who are about to, be given their termination papers? So, I mean, could you? Yeah, I don't know that it's incredibly likely. And if he is moved, it may be part of a, you know what I mean, a package of him and a pick for somebody else and a pick. It may be more than just a straight swap.
Right. Well, it looks like the Jermaine Kearse era, it looks like anyway, is over when you start hearing about reports of them moving a guy or trading a guy just before the 4th final preseason game. That has cut written all over it if there is no trade. So a lot of people here have an affinity to Jermaine Kearse for a lot of reasons.
Big moments. Big moments.
Not only big moments, but don't forget he's a local guy. He's from Tacoma.
Right.
He went to the University of Washington. He was an undrafted free agent. He's done all the right things in the community. He's been a good guy. He's been kind of a controversial guy just from his football playing standpoint because a lot of people here don't think he's a very good receiver. But as a guy and a hometown product, he's been a good guy, and so it's a fairly substantial story that he could be playing tonight against the Raiders in the 4th preseason game for the final time. Let me throw a couple of other things at you because we kind of started late and we got this phone poll that gives everybody a chance to win the Cardinals Seahawks tickets in our next segment at 8:28 by answering the poll question. Let's go through some of this. Aaron Donald, what do you know?
think he's pretty stuck in. Now, everybody says that at this point in time, but I do believe this is a case that he'll be willing to sacrifice a paycheck or two to really make a statement. And if the Rams are in this second year in L.A., and last year, let's face it, they didn't capture anybody's imagination. That was a joke. They had to fire their coach in season. No quarterback looked good. They were running a Pop Warner offense. So they come in this year and they start slow. Now, they get the Colts week 1. So, I mean, that's a brutal football game and one that the Rams, frankly, could win because the Colts are – that's just the whole another degree of debacle there. But they're not going to be a very good football team, and he is their best player, and they have consistently rewarded and overpaid guys right on down the line. I mean, that's just been what they've done for mediocre tackles and for okay linebackers and for number 4 receivers / gadget guys who get paid like, 1B receivers, maybe not quite 1A receivers, but get paid like 1B receivers. Then he's sitting there saying, well, I'm just going to wait this out because how long, Les Snead fighting for his job, trying to gain market share, how long before they just give me my money? And the Sammy Watkins thing complicates it because he wants to be paid too, and they'd like to get him done before the season starts because they gave up a lot for a 24-year-old who they'd rather not have to franchise or let leave for a comp pick a year from now. So I think Aaron Donald's pretty stuck in.
Okay. Vontaze Burfict gets a reduction from what, 5 to 3?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I mean, that's people are like, oh, wow, 5's crazy. Why would you set it at 5? Well, because they're trying to send a message to a habitual offender. And these things generally do get reduced. So sometimes you have to, we've seen in the past them say, oh, a guy's going to miss 3 weeks or a guy's going to miss an extended period of time, knowing it'll probably get reduced to 2, but at least that's more than 1, and it's a mounting threshold. I'm not a fan of the way the guy plays the game. He's been involved in too many of these incidents throughout his entire career. He's an old enough guy now where he's not really going to change his spots. And they're trying to send a message to him that this is a sliding scale. So if they just kept 5, I'd have been okay with it. Some people say, oh, well, it's kind of a new rule and they've changed the point of emphasis on it. But again, this type of thing is not out of character for him at all.
Ezekiel Elliott's suspension, when do we find out the results of the appeal, and what do you expect the result to be?
They got to stop the hearing first. I mean, my goodness. This hearing lasts longer than some people's vacations. Are they re-adjudicating this case? I mean, you took a year to make your decision. He spent time in the league office back, June 26th, right? Spent the whole day there pleading his case. You come out with this ruling, and now it's a 3-day hearing? I mean, they can't wait too long to make the decision because there's a roster cut and teams are practicing for week 1 next week. So originally I anticipated it by, that traditional 5 p.m. Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern Friday news dump, and it still may be. I don't think Harold Henderson deliberates on this for more than a day, and then they're going to have to tell the Cowboys and they're going to have to tell him what his status is, and then he'll probably go to court if try to find some judge who believes he has a case and who would be willing to grant him an injunction to play until that judge rules on the merits of his, workplace case against the Cowboys and saying that he's not being treated fairly. What Harold Henderson will do, I don't know. I mean, the league's never applied its own policy yet. I mean, no one's served 6 games on the giddy up for domestic violence. They lowered Greg Hardy from 10 to 6. So if that was somehow if Harold Henderson was somehow able to be swayed that based on all the evidence in Greg Hardy that it should go from 10 to 6, then, history would say maybe he does
6 to 3.
Or 4 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're making me guess and it is purely a guess,
4.
That would be my guess.
Okay. Before you go, thoughts around the league on the contract of Matthew Stafford, $135 million over 5 years for a guy who was 51 and 58 as a starting quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, wins I don't think is how I'm going to necessarily measure most quarterbacks, and especially not this guy given what's been around him for most of his career in Detroit. I mean, this guy came into the league right under Matt Millen. I mean, in the shadows of 0-16. So, they haven't often had a complete football team there, and they haven't often had a brain trust in place that is among the game's elite. I don't think they had a choice. No one thought they had a choice. I reported at the start of last season that Tom Condon was telling people then that before the start of the 2017 season he was going to get $25 million a year or more from Matt Stafford, and I said he's absolutely right. And it played out that way. Remember, he's under the old CBA guys. He was the last bonus baby.
Right.
55, $60 million guaranteed before he threw a pass just by being drafted.
Yeah, $110 million earned before this next contract. $110 million.
So what are you going to do? You're not going to let him walk, certainly.
Well, you could have done.
Somebody else is going to pay him.
Well, you could have
trade him or something. But
you could have tagged him for 1 year and paid him $26 million, and then put off the decision by a year.
But he's a very good quarterback. To me, he's a top 10 to 12 quarterback easily, and maybe 8 to 10. I'm a big Stafford guy.
Is he a fantasy football guy?
No. Fantasy football, when he rallies them in the fourth quarter, is that fantasy football or is that scoreboard football?
Scoreboard football.
You
like him. You like Matt
Stafford.
He's a Matt Stafford. You're a Matt Stafford guy.
I like Matt Stafford.
You like Matt Stafford.
I think Matt Stafford can play some football. Yeah.
Really?
Empty numbers.
Yeah.
Dick Fain doesn't like Matt Stafford.
He's all right. He's aight.
Is he $27 million a year? All right.
No.
All right. Who's the next guy to clip him? I got to go though. But who's the next guy to clip him? Jason.
Aaron Rodgers will clip them all in the next 6 to 9 months, and he'll be the $30 million quarterback.
He's better than I.
Is Kirk Cousins going to get more than Matt Stafford?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Kirk Cousins is going to get franchised again. If he has any kind of season, how do they just let him walk?
We go again with that.
Pretty soon they're going to be paying him $50 million a year.
Who do you think's better, Matt Stafford or Kirk Cousins?
Matt Stafford.
Okay. All right. He likes Matt Stafford.
He does.
Boy,
I think he's in the same boat as Kirk Cousins.
That's all right. You're allowed. We love you, Jason.
Matt Stafford makes some throws, baby. He can play quarterback.
Your beer is on its way.
I don't think we even had a bet, did we?
I don't have to have a bet. See, some guys don't pay off their bet. Other guys just pay off bets that don't even exist.
I paid off in person.
You get to send the beer just to prove you can send the beer.
It's illegal
right?
to ship beer. You're not shipping me.
How about doing me a favor? Next week, it's the Thursday before the regular season openers, right? How about calling on time from the landline and let's be prompt next week. It's our first show together with the new season upon us. You're going to have to make your predictions.
I answered the phone. Not being prompt would be not answering the phone.
No, not being prompt is not being at the landline at the appropriate time.
I got to talk to Slickhawk, though. I got to see about Wednesday or Thursday, about which day's going to work.
Really? Are we changing it now?
Well, we were doing a 3-day-a-week CBS football podcast, and Wednesday is going to be one of those days.
All right, here's
Lauren
what I
went back to work.
Here's the only thing. Okay,
days at kindergarten, so I got a lot of stuff to figure out.
I hear a little.
He's a busy guy.
There's a violin. Here's what I would say to you. This is what Uncle Mitchie says to you. Okay, I don't care when it is. Whenever you decide is best for you is fine. But let's just be there and be ready to go. Be square right at the time that it's supposed to be, on the day that it's supposed to be. I'll be ready for you. Okay? Because next week is big. It's big.
They're all big. I have a different. I think they're all big. I think each week's as big as the next.
This is big.
A win in April could be as significant as a win in September.
No, there's nothing quite like here in Lock-in for a few days. But actually, it'll be the night of the NFL opener, for God's sakes, if it's Thursday. Don't they play? Somebody must play Thursday night. Yeah. Come on, get excited. I'm excited.
It's Thursday, huh? It may be Thursday.
I'm excited to hear you.
Wednesday.
Come on.
Thursday's at 11. Is that what we're thinking?
Well, it's not 11 here,
but
though.
I got to check next week. I'm telling you, next week's going to be crazy because he gets out. He only goes to kindergarten for 2 days, 2 hours a week.
Well, this week was crazy. Last week was crazy.
I was in New York. It's always crazy this time of year.
I don't think it's crazy.
Then we get settled in.
Should we cancel it?
I think he makes all. Calgary takes care of.
You know what? I could do Calgary from his kindergarten play date because they don't care that I'm on a cell phone.
All right, stop it.
So while he was at his meet and greet for kindergarten at the playground, I did Calgary from the cell phone. Yeah.
I'm sure it was great. Okay, Jason.
Yeah, we didn't spend half the time complaining about whether my.
Bye, Jason.
Did you just cut him off?
I put him on hold.
You've had enough.
Well, we've got people calling in for 50-yard line seats for the Cardinals and Seahawks game. It's a big game.
It is a big game.
December 31. That's New Year's Eve day.
Mm-hmm.
So you spend a day going to the Seahawks-Cardinals game.
Yes.
Sit in 50-yard line seats.
That's what I plan to do.
Best seats in the house. Watch the game. Watch the Seahawks cement away the number 2 seed in the NFC and the bye in the NFC. And then you go out and you do your safe New Year's Eve celebration. What better of a December 31st is that?
We're going to destroy Drew Stanton in that game.
You think he's going to be playing by then?
Carson Palmer
okay.
Like half dead.
So here's the deal. I got nobody on the lines. Look.
Whoa, they're empty. Every line is open.
Every line. I just played the dial tone on every line. 206-286-9595. Or the number that nobody remembers, 1-800-829-0950. It's the fourth and final preseason game tonight in Oakland against the Raiders. Where are your eyes? What are you interested in seeing? Who are you looking at? Does Jermaine Kearse interest you more tonight because you've heard now the Seahawks are looking to deal him? Who is it? And why that you'd like to see that you're going to be watching tonight if you do watch the fourth and final preseason game for the Seattle Seahawks against the Oakland Raiders, right? And it's probably on Q13 Fox, our friends at Q13 Fox.
Sure, why not?
I would assume.
Gotta be. Aaron Levine on the sidelines. The guys up in the booth. It's got to be Q13 Fox. They're the preseason home.
Last week threw me off.
They're the preseason home. Yeah, because it was on CBS.
Yeah, it threw me off.
On CBS.
On CBS.
Our buddies over at Q13 will do a hell of a job bringing home the fourth and final preseason game, and we want to know
tonight's
from
on the
you.
NFL Network too.
Yeah, but you're not watching on the NFL Network.
Can you even watch on the NFL Network?
No, we're watching on Q13 Fox.
You can watch them on both, even if it's local?
Listen to me. Look at me. Look at me.
What?
We're watching on Q13 Fox.
Well, we like our friends at Q13.
They're our guy. I mean, they're local yokels.
Is Kurt Menefee your guy? Is he a local yokel?
Aaron Levine's a stick.
Or is he a hired gun?
Aaron Levine is like a one-handed.
I love Aaron
Levine.
Levine.
If he was a hired gun, what type of gun would he be?
Okay.
Who, Menefee?
Yes.
You guys. 206-286. Look what time it is. 95.9. And this is all because you can't get Lock and Fora on at like 5 after. It's got to start at 15
It's not Slickhawk's fault.
Menefee's you know what? Menefee's a 240 Bravo.
Is that a powerful gun?
Who you watching and why? If you want to win 50-yard line seats to the Cardinals-Seahawks game next on 950. You know, I was right on schedule too, pretty much all day.
Yeah, Lock and
just so you know,
screwed you up.
Now I'm all messed up. And that's 2 weeks in a row. I don't think Slickhawk was here last week.
Nope.
No, I wasn't. So what happened last week?
He called. He wanted to go on. He said, "You got a choice." He told the producer, I think it was Jackson. I don't know who was here that day.
It was Shockey if it was Thursday.
Shockey.
No, it was Wednesday. So it was Jackson.
Okay, maybe it was Jackson. Like I said. He said something like, we can either start on a cell phone and then I can graduate to a landline. Were you here?
Yes.
And or you can just wait a little bit and I'll get to a landline. I'm like 2 minutes away. So we started with him late, and then he was a lot longer than 2 minutes away from the landline. He was like 15 minutes, 18 minutes away.
And we're just tap dancing.
Yeah, just Okay, come on. Let's give away some. Let's try to pump up the excitement. Let's try to get a rating for Q13 Fox tonight, because I know it's the fourth and final preseason game, but it still is the Seahawks.
Well, they've been doing pretty well.
Yeah, they don't need our help.
Yeah, but I would think that if they ever did need our help, if you said any game this year, regular season, preseason, postseason, if there's any, you said that the people at Q13 would like Mitch's help for one game. This is the game, a Thursday nighter heading into Labor Day weekend with the Huskies playing Friday night. Not that any of that matters. I'm not sure why I brought any of that up. But, preseason game number 4, the starters aren't going to play very much, if at all. The interesting point about this is that they haven't done a cut yet. This is like the first year that they hadn't done a cut by. Mm-hmm. So they got all these players. Normally at this time, they're down to their last group of players that they're getting ready to cut. Now they got 1 million players.
Right.
So you would figure the starters would actually play even less because there's just so many guys that are down there. But you can win a 50-yard line pair of tickets to the Seahawks and Cardinals on December 31st. If you just pick up the phone right now, 206-286-9595, 1-800-829-0950, and tell us who you're paying attention to tonight. Go ahead.
Every game I've had multiple answers, and I had to come up with one. Today it was very, very easy. If he is out there, I'm watching Deuce CJ Procise.
Why? I don't understand that.
Really?
Yeah, I think you know who CJ Procise is. I mean, what is it that
CJ
and tonight's game against the Raiders in the fourth preseason? That's a cop-out answer, I think. I don't think you want to think. I don't think you want to think about it. I don't think you like the question.
No, I think
you don't like the question.
That was just the one name that just stuck out right away.
Why? What is it?
I've been waiting to see him.
Okay.
And
you know what he looks like.
You know what he does.
I've kind of forgot.
You know what he can do. It's not.
Look,
I really
Dick,
like him.
Dick, let me say something to you.
Yeah.
You're entitled to your own opinion.
Even
I
if it's
respect.
wrong.
No, there's no such thing as wrong. That's what the poll question's all about. It's an opinion.
Yeah.
And look, if CJ Procise is what floats your boat tonight, what time does it start? 7:00?
Yeah.
If that's what floats your boat tonight, I'm with you, kid. But if you said to me, Mitch, rank your 15, top 1 to 15.
He wouldn't be in there.
No.
Really?
He wouldn't even make the 15. He'd be an
Aren't you interested to see if he's even going to play?
He's also receiving votes.
Yeah?
Yeah. Okay? I'm assuming you're not deuce. You're not going to go deuce on me.
No. I'm going to go somewhere a little different, a little different than what you expect.
Okay.
You know how in baseball, like you'll be watching a game, it'll be close to the trading deadline, and maybe you got an outfielder or something, and it'll be the 4th, 5th inning, and all of a sudden they pull him off the field because he's just been traded. I'll be looking tonight to see Jermaine Kearse.
You're mean.
Getting pulled off the field.
And watch him wave to the crowd.
You're honestly mean.
I am not
mean-spirited.
No.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, he kind of is.
He's a hell of a nice guy.
I like Jermaine Kearse, the person.
He vacuums his own car at the Brown Bear.
I know you
car
saw
wash.
him.
Yeah.
This is nothing
I saw
against
more
Jermaine
of him than I
Kearse.
needed.
He is very involved in the community.
He was wearing pants that were not covering up.
What they should have been covering?
Yeah, while he was vacuuming in the back seat.
Wow.
Yeah. He's a regular guy.
You are more mean to him than
mean.
any
You're
Other Seattle athlete since
really
you've been
mean.
on this show.
Because I've felt this way for now 4 years.
Okay, you guys are giving these answers. Good for you guys. 20, 22, and 15, or whatever.
I'm going to be looking at
Austin
Davis.
I'm going to give you more of a kind of a
off the beaten path answer.
No, just more of a something that matters a little bit more. I don't want to.
All right.
I don't want to take away from your guys' picks, but I mean, you go through it a little bit. You can just go through it. I'd like to see Trevon Boykin play a good football game. Okay?
Yeah.
I'd like to see Chris Carson continue to do what he's doing. I'm interested in seeing him play tonight. Offensive lineman, I'm interested in the Ibushi versus Glowinski right guard position. One of them is going to be the starting at right guard. Yep. I don't think they even know just yet who the starter at right guard is going to be. So I'm interested in those guys. I'm interested in Matt Tobin. He was rushed into duty after being acquired from Philadelphia last week.
Some time.
I'd like to see if Reese Odiambo and Matt Tobin is more of a close call than it was made out to be last week. So I'm interested in Matt Tobin. I'll be watching the left tackle position. All right? Linebackers. Will Mike Morgan make this team? Will DJ Alexander make this team? What about the guy that played great? What was the name of the guy who played great in game 1 and then disappeared? Will Hoyt. Is Will Hoyt going to play?
Will Hoyt.
He's probably not going to play because he was one of the guys that had the blood spinning in warm weather. How about my guy? I say him every week. Shaq.
Yeah.
Shaq Griffin's going to be out there a lot tonight.
Well, if he can't cover fifth wide receivers
on
somebody's team,
is it going to be Jeremy Lane? How about if Shaq Griffin's going to play the starting corner in Green Bay, that he gets some confidence tonight, even against fifth stringers, and he goes and he shuts somebody down and he makes an interception or something? How about 26, Shaq Griffin? How about Jeremy Lane? How about the safeties that have not shown me much in the preseason? The Hills of the world and the Tysons of the world and the guy from Colorado.
Thompson.
What's his name? Thompsons of the world. I think you. How about Amara Darbo?
Who's that?
The guy who's going to make the team only because he was a third-round draft choice. One of the reasons they're trying to trade Jermaine Kearse.
I don't think he's going to make the team.
He's going to make the team. Want to bet $1 right now?
Yep.
$1.
Yep.
Okay,
I
put it on the board.
Okay, put it on the board.
All right.
I think that I just gave you a host of answers, so I have to pick one.
Yep. I think last one is.
I'm going to remain consistent. Shaq.
You and Shaq.
Shaq's really important.
Shaq's going to get torched next week. Let's just put that in bake that into our expectations of next week's game. I'm not saying anything about Shaq the rest of the year as far as how he's going to do, how he's not going to do. He's going to get torched next week.
All right, your calls, 206-286-9595. Sorry we couldn't get him in this segment. We'll get him in next segment. Keep holding, and if you want somebody to blame, it's Jason Lockenfor. I'll give you his number.
Good.
All right, let me race through some. Can you get some people in that? Are we going to do the drawing tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Okay.
9 o'clock hour tomorrow.
Pam and Issaquah needs to know.
Well, she's going to be in it.
Cam and Napa Vine needs to know. All of our new friends, they need to know. Are we going to do the drawing tomorrow?
Tomorrow, 9 o'clock hour.
And you've got every caller that's called into the poll since we started this weeks ago?
Every single one.
And anybody who's called in more than one time, they get extra. They've got their phone number in there as many times as they got in? Okay. All right. 50-yard line seats will be given away tomorrow on the program, on the draw. Paul in Falls City, who do you want to see?
I want to see CJ Process, and I'll tell you flat out, it is not a cop-out. Okay. I want to see him do 2 runs. I want to see him catch 1 ball, and I just want to make sure that he's good to go for game 1.
Okay.
I like that.
Okay. Dick Fane wins. Pam and Issaquah.
It's not a contest.
Pam and Issaquah, who do you want to watch tonight? Who do you want to watch?
I want to watch Jermaine Kearse. I hope he does well and increases his own trade value.
Okay.
We call that bait.
Okay. You want to showcase him.
I hope someone might. Yeah.
Okay. Pam and Issaquah wants to see Jermaine Kearse tonight. Strick in Issaquah, how are you?
I'm doing good. Do you want me to tell the truth or not?
Yeah.
No, lie to us.
We all 12 like Marshawn Lynch. So
Marshawn Lynch.
I'm really interested in
Yeah, good luck.
I want to see Marshawn Lynch on the field again.
Yes.
So coming back to Seahawks, though, I really agree with Mitch. The problem we have, the offense is looking very good this year. The only problem is second corner. I don't trust Jeremy Lane, and I want to see Shaq to get better and be the reliable second corner for a LOB.
Strick, I love you. I love
his accent.
I love the accent. I love it.
Accent.
I love your knowledge. How do you say your name, Streak? Streak? Say it.
S-R-I-K.
So how do you pronounce it?
S-R-I-K.
Pronounce it.
Yeah. Streak.
Streak, you can call anytime. I want to hear from you again, okay?
This is the first time I'm calling you because it's very difficult to get your line.
Oh, okay. Well, you keep calling, okay?
He's good. He's good.
He's
I
good.
do have one.
I like his accent and I like his knowledge.
One message for Sreek.
And he
though.
agreed with me, so how could I not like
one message for Sreek.
Yeah.
Sreek has got a much better chance of watching Slickhawk in a Raider uniform tonight than he does Marshawn Lynch.
Dave in Bellevue. Good morning to you, Dave. No Dave? It says on air. Okay, no Dave.
No Dave.
Don't put Dave in there.
Bye, Dave.
Jim in Seattle. Good morning, Jim.
Odiambo.
Reese.
Can you say
one word?
Can you say hello?
Hello, Odiambo.
He's nice and friendly. Alan in Seattle. Hi, Alan.
Only one reason to tune in tonight, and it's beast mode.
Okay. Marshawn Lynch is running away with
There's
the ball.
going to be a lot of people very disappointed when they turn the game on tonight and not see number 24.
I don't even think he's going to report to the stadium.
No.
John in North Bend, who do you want to watch tonight?
I originally wanted to go with Jermaine, but somebody else took the same reason, so I'm going to go change it and go with Amara Darboh.
Amara Darboh. God.
I like that. I like
Wouldn't
that
it be nice just to see something to get excited about with the third-round pick out of Michigan? Mark in Gig Harbor.
Good morning.
Hi.
CJ Process. I got to see something out of him. He's just been a big tease the last couple of years. Let's see some action.
Okay. Greg in Sammamish.
Good morning. Left guard, left tackle, right guard. Need to see somebody that can move the pile.
Okay. Good luck. Tammy in Everett. Good morning.
Good morning, CJ Process. I want to see him stay on the team. I like him, and he's good for our community.
He's good for our community.
He is good. He is good for I would imagine.
Good for the
I don't
community.
think he's bad for the community.
Kenneth in Everett. Good morning.
Good morning. I would like to see the left side of that offensive line step it up and open up some holes for the run and protect Russell.
Yeah, the problem is I don't think tonight is the night to be watching the offensive line outside of left tackle and right guard, just because I don't think Britt's going to play. I don't think Jokel's going to play. Is Jokel going to play? He's not going to play tonight. Why would he play? He was just out getting his blood spun around in a warm weather condition. John and Ballard.
Blair Walsh for sure. I'm still not sold on our kicker position here.
Yes. Blair Walsh.
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely. And also,
sorry. He's looked good.
I've enjoyed what I've seen out of him.
He's bonked one field goal. That's it, right? Because it was 52 yards and he hit it off the crossbar?
No. He missed one the other night that got called back. There was a penalty.
Yeah,
it doesn't count.
Yes, it does.
Doesn't count.
It does.
He made the next one.
I'm queasy, but I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful on Blair Walsh. I think he's had a better preseason than I expected him to have. All right, debate still yet to come.
Yeah.
And don't forget, everybody who has called on the poll question over the last 3 or 4 weeks, drawing tomorrow for the 50-yard line seats, Cardinals Seahawks. Okay, good morning. We're trying to get back on track here. The great debate section of the radio program is coming up shortly. Let me update you on the headlines as I see them anyway. Do you have Paul Simon? Cue the Paul Simon, will you? And then after
all the way to YouTube.
Cue the Paul Simon and then play a few of the Ariel Miranda moonshots. And when I say Ariel Miranda moonshots, I don't mean that he was hitting them like Steven Strasburg yesterday.
No.
He was giving them, though.
Have to wait for the Energizer Bunny.
Why is it so hard to get Paul Simon?
Because we don't have it.
I ask for it about this time every year. You should throw it into the computer.
We've never played this on the show. Never.
You may have never.
Oh, well.
But I have.
Okay, well, then that predates me. I've been here 5 years.
He hammers this again. Pull side, deep, left field. Gone. 2-run homer. Wellington Castillo. Boy, he has been a pain. It's 3 RBIs today for him. His 16th home run. 46 runs batted in for a guy who had a good cup of coffee with the Mariners back in 2015. That's hit deep to left. We told you this ballpark yields more home runs than any place in the big leagues. Line drive home run, Craig Gentry, his second.
How come the Mariners don't hit home runs there?
Third home run given up by Miranda today.
The Mariners are a home run hitting team, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, they're not like... Somewhat.
Should be able to hit home runs at Camden Yards.
You should. Well, I have an answer for that. If Ariel Miranda were pitching for the Orioles, the Mariners would have hit home runs yesterday.
How many home runs is now Ariel Miranda given up?
That'd be a major league leading 35.
You know what they say about a guy who leads the world in home runs given up? You got to be pretty good.
Why? Because you got to stay in there long enough to...
You got to be... You have your... Either that or you got to have pictures of your boss with a goat.
Yeah.
35 home runs.
I mean, Bert Blyleven made a Hall of Fame career giving up home runs.
Yeah. Maybe Miranda's on his way to a Bert Blyleven type career.
There you go.
When do we see Mike Leake Slickhawk the first time as a Mariner wearing a Mariners cap?
This weekend. Against Oakland, right?
Speaking of Mike Leake, you want to do a take a leak joke?
Love it.
You love your take a leak.
You were the only. Is it pee your pants Thursday?
I think you were the only one that was enjoying that yesterday. But go ahead. I enjoy the fact that you were enjoying.
Jerry DiPoto took a leak all over the wild card race.
Look at you. Look at him.
It just gives me the giggles.
Clever. It's so clever.
Giggles. You know some stupid stuff you get the giggles over.
Oh, come on. It's just some. I got everything I do is stupid. Okay, we're going to see Mike Leake. But we did get some information. I need more headline music. We did get some more information about Mike Leake. You got some information.
Yes. By the way, Wellington Castillo had 2 hits as a member of the Mariners.
Yeah.
He had 4 against the Mariners yesterday.
How many games did he play?
He played 6. No, I'm sorry. He had 4 hits. I looked in the next. He did have 4 hits in 6 games for the Mariners, and he had 4 hits yesterday. Wow.
Beef Wellington.
He was 4 for 25.
We found out.
Not bad.
Beef Wellington.
That the St. Louis Cardinals. Come on, hang in there. St. Louis Cardinals are going to pick up $17 million of the $53 million tab, $55 million. So
that's nice of them.
Yeah.
So now you owe him $38 million over what? He's going to pitch 2 full years for the Mariners.
Yeah.
So
it's still a lot of money for a guy that's not very good. You sure it's only 2? Maybe it's 3. 18, 19, 20. Yeah. I think it's 3.
I thought 20 was an option year.
No, I think 21 is the option year. I think it's 3.
I'd have to look.
I'm going to go right out and say it. I think it's 3. I think my memory is better than your memory.
5 seconds.
5.
Trick. What's his
4,
name?
3, 2.
You're right. You're right.
1. I think they get him for 3 years.
Yep.
That's a paltry $12.5 million, $13 million. That's Giovanni Gallardo money. They basically replaced Giovanni Gallardo's contract with Mike Leake's contract.
It's a better pitcher.
What's interesting about this is that
is he?
Yeah.
That they're paying him for one thing and one thing only.
The pitch?
His durability.
Innings.
His durability. The fact that he has started 30 games a year or more in each of his last 6 seasons, and the Mariners don't have anybody that they can count on all season long, maybe outside of Ariel Miranda, to take the ball and give up home runs. They're paying this guy $38 million over the next 3 years because of his durability. Because really, when you look at his numbers, at least the last 2 in St. Louis, yeah, he was durable, but while he was out there, he wasn't particularly good. It's okay at best, Mike Leake. So good for him. He can parlay the fact that he's dependable and he doesn't get hurt, and he takes the ball from the manager once every 5 days. He can parlay that into a lot of money. He did so in St. Louis. He'll make the money now here in Seattle. Day off today. 9-game homestand starts tomorrow. What do you got to have? 9 games. There's 28 games to play.
Oh, minimum 6.
What do you got to have?
Well, 28 games to play.
7.
There's a 9-game homestand. So at the end of this homestand, there'll be 19 games to play.
Who do we have? Oakland and who else?
You have Oakland, Houston, and then Los Angeles of Anaheim. Or Anaheim Angels of Los Angeles. I don't know how you say that. LAA.
Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
And they're 3 games under right now? Or 2 games under? 2 games under.
2 games under 500.
They need 3. They need 6 and 3 minimum.
Let's talk about what a reasonable deficit is with 19 games to play on wild card number 2.
Okay.
Is 2 games?
Yes.
Reasonable? Is 3 games?
Yes.
Reasonable? Is 3 games with 3 teams between you and them reasonable?
How many games? 28?
No, 19. No, 19.
There'll only be 19 games left after the homestand.
Because right now you've got 5 teams in between you and Minnesota, who's the second wild card team. So,
by the way, the Yankees are only a game up on them. The Yankees are quickly falling to earth.
So what's a reasonable deficit and amount of teams to catch with 19 games to play?
The max would be 3 and 3. 3 games, 3 teams.
Okay.
You got to get 7 out of 9.
Okay, well, here's the deal.
7.
If they win 7 out of 9, they're going to be 3 games or better back.
Absolutely. They'll probably be 2 games
back. And they'll probably only have 1 or 2 teams between them and second wild card. So they are a 7-2 homestand away from being right in the meat of the pennant race, right?
Yes.
Well, if that's the case, what if I told you before the season started that the Mariners are going to play a 9-game homestand to start September, where all they'll need to do is go 7-2 to be right in the mix of a playoff spot? You might have signed up for that.
Maybe 7-2 is a lot.
You might have signed up for that.
7-2 is a lot.
It's a homestand with Oakland.
When's the last time we went 7-2 at home?
Yeah, you never do.
It involves a sweep, probably, doesn't it?
I take it back.
Yeah, sweep and 2 out of 3s.
Seahawks game number 4. I won't call it the all-important preseason game number 4 tonight. Thursday night football in Oakland on Q13 Fox at 7 o'clock. ESPN is reporting that the Seahawks are trying to trade Jermaine Kearse, which has drawn a considerable amount of reaction, both on the good side and the bad side. Jermaine Kearse will presumably play tonight, his last game as a Seahawk, and then he'll either be traded or cut. I feel comfortable about my dollar bet about Amara Darboh with Slickhawk. Slickhawk says Darboh's not going to make the team. even though he's a third rounder and they're getting rid of Jermaine Kearse.
He hasn't caught a pass.
I know.
Well,
he's only missed one game.
Jermaine Kearse is, I'd still say, 50% and a feather less than 50-50 chance of him being traded. And if Darbo comes out and stinks the joint up today, they might have just said, you know what, cut the losses and let's just stick with Kearse.
I think it's just not a pro receiver. It's just...
He was your guy, too.
I know.
Pete Carroll, he was crisp coming out of the breaks. Thomas Rawls and C.J. Prosise are now healthy enough to play.
He was smooth.
What do you guys think of Thomas Rawls? You like Thomas Rawls?
Yeah.
Kinda. Yeah. I mean, I think he's just still got... I still consider him as a guy that has potential to be a starting running back.
I like him more than Hugh Millen.
Where's Christian Michael when I need him?
Thank God, far away.
DJ Alexander could finally see some extended playing time today at linebacker and on special teams, where he was a Pro Bowler, with the Chiefs before the Hawks acquired him for Kevin Pierre-Louis. There's the plight of Tyler Lockett. I'm starting to get worried, guys. I'm going to be the first guy to raise my hand and tell you that I'm worried that next week on about Wednesday or Thursday, we're going to start hearing that Tyler Lockett's not playing. All this preseason, all we've heard is Tyler Lockett's way ahead of schedule. Tyler Lockett is doing great. Tyler Lockett could play in this preseason game. If the game meant something, he'd play. Tyler Lockett, we're just precautionary. We're just keeping him out until the regular season. Why am I getting a gut-wrenching feeling that next week at this time we're going to be wondering whether Tyler Lockett's going to play against the Green Bay Packers? I think we've been getting snowed.
A bill of goods?
We've been getting a bill of goods. I hope I'm wrong about this.
The severity of Tyler Lockett's injury, how did it compare to the severity of the Jimmy Graham injury?
Well, it was probably as severe, although I think that the knee is more complicated to repair than his terrible break. I think the Graham injury happened a lot earlier in the season, which gave him much more time to recuperate and rehabilitate and get ready for the following season. Remember, Tyler Lockett's injury happened, what was it, the last game or the second to last game of the season? Yeah. I don't know. He was asked whether he would play special teams by Greg Bell, our Seahawks at 7 contributor, and here was Pete. This is the quote that really, for some reason, I guess I'm just a half-empty guy. This quote just got me thinking last night when he was asked, would he play special teams? Would he be on the punt return teams in Green Bay? Pete Carroll said, quote, if Locke's ready to go, he'll be involved in special teams. We'll see next week where we are. If he's back, he's back. And we think he's going to be. To me, that's not an encouraging quote. Now, you might say, because you're a positive guy, that, you know what, he says we think he's going to be back. Yeah. What's not positive about that? There's something about the tenor of that quote that makes me think that Pete Carroll's not sure whether he's going to have Tyler Lockett.
It all depends on, do you put more emphasis on the last sentence or do you put more emphasis on the first
What do you
sentences?
think?
Well, I put more emphasis on the last sentence because I'm a glass half full guy.
Didn't take former Pro Bowl cornerback Joe Hayden long to land. A few hours later, after being cut by the Cleveland Browns, he signed with the Steelers' 3-year deal, $27 million, $7 million for the first year. The Cavs get an extra second-round pick from Boston because of Isaiah Thomas's hip injury. Albert Pujols connected on home runs number 611 and 612 last night against the A's, tying Jim Thome for the 7th all-time. The Florida Gators now have suspended 10 guys in all for the opener against Michigan this weekend, one of the games of the weekend in college football, all stemming from this incident where they used, the players did, ID cards, student ID cards, to purchase merchandise and then to sell them for cash, even though they didn't have enough money on their ID card to cover the expenses of the merchandise in the first place, which prods me to ask the question, why does the bookstore allow an athlete or non-athlete to show an ID, and if they don't have enough money in their account to still purchase the products?
Especially to multiple people. I mean, it's not just
10.
one time.
10 so far and counting.
And the story you just brought up before that.
What story
is that? Do you not
that?
find it preposterous that we had to wait 10 days on this whole, is IT hurt? We need more. And it's a second-round draft pick in 2020, which is what the negotiations were for the last week? That's like asking Steve Ballmer for $1. Boston Celtics have like 47 draft picks over the next 3 years. Like, yeah, okay, we'll give you an extra second round. Well, I thought it was going to be something, all the reports made it sound like, you know what, this isn't going to go through unless they crank up the value of this pick because Isaiah Thomas is injured. And it's a second round draft pick 3 years from now?
That's all you get. That's all they get.
Ridiculous.
Well, they got the first overall pick coming. They got Michael Porter coming to Cleveland next
LeBron
year.
and Porter together. Probably the
LeBron's not going to be there.
Still got to win the lottery. Still got to win the lottery and still got to pick Porter. Could pick somebody else. Bagley. There's some other guys that are going to be out in the draft.
LeBron's not going to be there either.
And LeBron is
so what's that?
Be
Likely
playing in LA.
The two best high school basketball players we've seen in this century, probably? If Porter's the best since LeBron, and LeBron's the best since whoever.
Carmelo is better than both of them. Go ahead, hit the button.
Come on.
It's great.
Welcome, everyone, to the official debate section of the Charter Review.
The Great Debate, brought to you by Gamble Sands Golf Course. The Inn at Gamble Sands is now open, so book your reservation at gamblesands.com.
Jane, you ignorant slut. That's the way you do it. That's the way you debate.
All right.
We can just dab our toes in the debate water today on this segment.
Okay,
just dab them in there. Just a touch.
The Mariners traded yesterday for Mike Leake. Was the timing of adding Mike Leake right, or should DePoto have made this move a month ago?
Anytime you want to take a leak on the wild card race, it's good with me. Well, obviously, you should have made the trade a month ago. Because maybe we wouldn't be in this situation if he made the deal a month ago.
There must be reasons why he didn't.
Well, yeah, Mike Leake sucked for another month. So the Cardinals were like, okay, we're done with this dude.
Yeah, it really does have a too little, too late feel to it.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Now,
although it happened 2 days ago. Or no, yesterday.
The truth of the matter is, had they won 2 of the 3 games in Baltimore when they scored the 6 runs or more, we wouldn't be saying it has a too little, too late feel to it.
I guess
it
not.
Really just because it coincides with a disastrous end of the road trip in Baltimore. You couple that with, it
pisses me off that on August 30th, you trade for a guy who could have helped you throughout the entire month of August when you've been pitching almost the entire month with 5 AAA guys. Your best pitcher has been Erasmo Ramirez in the month of August. And you could have made this deal probably, and if not for Leake, you could have done it for Verlander, maybe Samardzija. You could have made that move at any point this month, and you didn't. And now the Mariners are where they're at. And you make this move a month ago. Look, it helps give the bullpen rest. It helps give you another kind of bump in that starting rotation where you're winning more games, you're getting deeper into ball games. I mean, that could have been a difference maker a month ago.
Well, first of all, we don't know that the Cardinals were willing to trade Mike Leake a month ago.
Right, it didn't have to be Leake. It could have been
somebody else.
One of many major league caliber pitchers.
Well, then you got to bitch with Jerry.
I do.
Call Jerry. You got his number? Call him. Leave him a message. Say, Jerry.
I'm not going to do that.
Hello, Jerry. Yeah, I see all your points. I can't argue against any of them. But we don't know, just to be, give him the benefit of the doubt. I believe that he deserves the benefit of the doubt, as most people do.
All right.
And so I would say we don't know whether he was working the phones hard and willing to make such a deal. When you say a month ago, you don't mean in July. You mean in August, early August.
Yeah, early August. Yeah. Any time in the month. Right. As the Mariners were a game up. As the Mariners were a game back.
Look, I don't disagree with anything that you said. All I'll just say in his defense is we don't know what was available to him on August 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. He might come in here and say, let me show you. I'll show you my phone. I was working it hard to try to get a Mike Leake or anybody like that. And teams, I couldn't swing the deal until now. They were waiting to the deadline of when they could do it, which is now August 30th. There's a possibility that he tried and it didn't work out for one reason. But I get you. It just has a too little, too late feeling to it.
Yep.
There's no question about it. All right, that's just a little dab.
That's the dab of our toe.
But a little dab won't do me on 950 KJR.
I see.
Oh! Come on!
Did Slickock get his wish?
What is it?
See, when you listen to the old radio program, you think, they're not doing anything useful over there. We get breaking news.
Let's hear it. Come on. Come on, Dick.
We get breaking news.
To the NFL networks, Ian Rappaport.
Oh, he's so credible, too.
Say it again.
Ian Rappaport.
Rappaport.
Yes, Rappaport.
Rappaport. Colbert Report.
While still attempting to trade wide receiver Jermaine Kearse. Sorry, he's not gone yet, Slickock.
Oh!
The team is also engaging in talks to move cornerback Jeremy Lane and running back Alex Collins.
Like a package deal?
Package deal.
Like you can have Kearse and then take these guys too?
Well, Lane, I think, has a little bit of value.
Lane has value.
There was a report out that they were close to moving Jermaine Kearse, but the team wanted Russell Wilson, too, to take him. Jeremy Lane and Alex Collins, before we get back to the great debate, I have a comment on both of those guys. Alex Collins makes a lot of sense to me. He looks like a pretty decent young running back who you might be able to work with over the next couple years and make him into something. And so there's just no place for him on this team. It makes a lot of sense, Alex Collins, to go ahead and trade him. And it makes sense for a team to acquire him because he's cheap. And if he gets cut, that would be more of an instance where I would fear that I would not be able to get him, because if a cheap, good-looking young running back were on the market, there'd be a lot of teams that would give him a look at the low number that he paid. So that makes sense to everybody involved. And I'm the first guy to take shots at Jeremy Lane. In fact, I think it's great. It's great fun. It's seasonal fun to take shots at Jeremy Lane. I would not trade Jeremy Lane. Now, I know what the issue is. He's making some money. He didn't have a good year last year. Why pay Jeremy Lane the kind of money that they're paying him to have him as either a nickel or even a backup to the other guy that they got from the 49ers as a nickel? I don't know. I just think that the defensive backfields and the corners in particular, are so fragile. I think that the situation with the Seahawks is so kind of fragile that one injury or one tough first year from Shaq, I just feel like Jeremy Lane, even if he's not in their plans at the beginning, it just strikes me that they are this close to needing Jeremy Lane. If something doesn't go right, either some bad fortune or bad news, I think they might regret trading Jeremy Lane.
I totally agree with you.
If they trade him.
And he's not a great player, but the scenario you're painting conjures up images of Matt Ryan shredding Nico Thorpe and DeAndre Elliott in the playoffs last year. That's the image that you are conjuring up right now.
Now, what John Schneider would say is, we agree with you, Mitch, but he's got a number on him that we don't want to pay. He's got a number on him that we want to pay a starting corner. And he's no longer a starting corner.
Where are you going to get that starting corner?
You just got him in the draft.
Well, yeah, but what are you going to use that money for right now?
Yeah. Maybe they've got their
eye. Are you going to get an offensive lineman? Are you going to trade for an offensive lineman? Then maybe we can talk.
Knowing John Schneider, he knows of some veterans that might get cut, like Jermaine Kearse, that are offensive linemen or somewhere else that he's got his eye on, that he figures he can't, the Joe Haydens of the world, that he can't buy for league minimum money, and maybe he needs to clear some money off the cap to be able to afford a guy who's going to get cut, a veteran who's going to get cut at a position that he needs somewhere else in the NFL. Is that possible?
Yeah.
Yes. Because if there's a Jermaine Kearse that's going to get cut, then there's guys like him all over the league that teams are going, geez, we like him, but we don't like him on that amount. Let's cut him. And then that guy is going to go shop his talents around and is going to get more than the league minimum. And maybe Schneider knows exactly who that guy is right now, or a couple of guys, and he wants to get his hands on him. He's positioning himself to do so.
There's going to be, if my math is correct, 40 times. There's going to be 1,200 free agents available on
one
Saturday.
Day. Yes.
1,200.
Or it could even be for something like what the 49ers just did, who they just got a guard, Laken Tomlinson from the Lions. They gave up a 5th-round pick in 2019. So for a 5th-round pick, I mean, he's probably not horrible. Maybe it's something like that even that Schneider has.
But what does that have to do with Jeremy Lane?
Well, I'm just saying you're talking about guys that he may be able to acquire, but you're going to have to pay a little bit too.
Yeah.
Because you take on the contract, you got to pay him. So if he's looking at a guy like that, that's worth a 5th or a 4th rounder, then he's going to cost a little bit of money.
Laken Tomlinson was a 1st-round draft pick 2 years ago.
Yeah, Luke Joker was 1st rounder 4 years ago.
Nice pick.
Wow.
Nice pick.
All right. I have no idea where that page went. Okay. Jermaine, this is interesting. We were just talking about this. Jermaine Kearse is rumored to be available for trade. Is having Kearse out of the lineup permanently worth having to rely on young, unproven receivers?
There's a little bit of a security blanket factor with me and Jermaine Kearse. A little bit of security blanket. Not that I love him. Not that I even really particularly like him. But there's a little bit of there's just a safety there. There's a safety that I have in there because I think Paul Richardson could break on any play. I think Tyler Lockett might break on any play or not be healthy. And I've got no idea how good Kasen Williams will be in an NFL regular season game. I'm hopeful, but I've got no idea how good he'll be.
I could go either way on this question. I'm a product of Hugh Millen.
You are?
And yes, he's my mentor. And he's got me convinced. He has pulled me aside both on the air and off the air. He has shown me statistical research. He has shown me video kind of analysis research of Jermaine Kearse. And what he's got me convinced of is that you don't have to get much from Kasen or somebody else like that to be able to actually be replacing Jermaine Kearse's
well, and
production.
Certainly Slick brought up the numbers earlier today.
So if that's right, if Hugh's right, and Hugh's never wrong, Russell Wilson, he's never wrong, then I'm okay with it. Now, the one thing that really always scares me, and especially when you start talking about Paul Richardson, Tyler Lockett, and Kasen Williams, what's the common denominator of those guys? Paul Richardson, Kasen Williams, and to a lesser extent, Tyler Lockett.
Injuries.
Injuries. Kasen Williams, ever since the big injury at Washington, has been nothing but injured. Paul Richardson, since the big injury at Colorado, has been nothing but injured.
Yep. Yeah.
Neither one of them, there is zero evidence that either one of them could get through an NFL 16-game season and be reliably there, physically able to play.
Jermaine Kearse has been remarkably durable.
I'll tell you again on Jermaine Kearse what I'll tell you about Jeremy Lane. I just hope that they don't cut him or trade Jermaine Kearse, and then in 4 weeks from now, Kasen Williams is hurt, Paul Richardson's hurt, they're looking for receivers, they're signing guys off the scrap heaps, right? Yep. And you're saying to yourself, geez, we didn't love Jermaine Kearse, but boy, he could help right now.
Yep.
I think that's the fear.
Yeah.
I don't think the fear is as much Kasen Williams and Paul Richardson stay healthy, Jermaine Kearse goes somewhere else, and you're like, geez, they're just not as good as Jermaine Kearse. I wish I had look what Jermaine Kearse is doing over there. Look what Richardson and Kasen Williams are doing over here. We shouldn't have done that. I don't think it's that. I don't think that's the scenario that I fear.
Right.
Because I think that they'll do enough if they're both healthy to kind of bridge the gap. I just, I guess I'm just beaten down now here in Seattle with the C.J. Prosises and the James Paxtons and the Paul Richardsons. I know every city's got them, but it just strikes me that you find that a guy, you just know when a guy can't physically get through a season. And I don't think Kason Williams and Paul Richardson give me much hope that they can get through a season. So
I think it's way less than 50% they get through the season.
And Curse, he's out there, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be intriguing what happens the next
Hugh Millen wishes he'd get hurt every once in a while.
No,
he's not injury, but just be unavailable. Let's say be unavailable.
Unavailable?
Yeah.
He's got a cold.
Yeah.
Flu-like symptoms.
Yeah, you know what Hugh would say right now if he were sitting next to me. Huh. What do you mean, Mitch? He's unavailable just about on every play.
Oh, damn. Yesterday, Ryan Divish, at the very end of his final visit, threw in that the Mariners may be looking to trade Kyle Seager in the offseason, possibly to acquire more starting pitching. Would you be in favor of such a move?
Yes. I think we have seen...
I can't answer that question. I refuse to answer that question.
Why?
Because tell me who it is.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Tell me who it is. It all depends on who it is.
Well, let's assume it's for good value. He's not giving him away.
Tell you what, I'll trade him for his little brother.
Well, that's what I said too.
And not the brother that's in the minor leagues.
Not Justin. We already have Justin, don't we?
I don't want to get him again. I want his little brother. I'll do that.
I think Kyle Seager has shown he has had enough bats in Major League Baseball that we know what he is. I think Kyle Seager is what Kyle Seager is. And that is a guy that is going to hit 260. That's a guy that's going to hit 25 home runs and drive in 75 guys.
Now, he's been more than that.
He's going to make 19 and a half, 19 and a half.
I think you're selling him short.
Whoa, what do you mean? I'm just
75 RBIs? He's a 75 RBI
Last year
guy?
he had 100 RBIs.
He's not a 75 RBI guy.
Okay, well, he's been 86, 69, 96, 74, 99, and he's going to have 78 this year. So he's an 80 RBI guy. He's not a 90 or 95 RBI
Sounds like
guy.
He's had 3 years of over 90 RBIs.
He's had 2 years of over 90.
Oh, I thought you said 3.
No, he's had 2 years of over 90 RBIs.
Well,
and his home runs are in the mid-20s.
Here's your problem. Here's your problem with this. Of the middle of the lineup, he's the only one that's relatively young. You're trading away the youngest of the middle of the lineup, and then a year or two later, the other two guys are going to go bye-bye, and now you're going to have nothing left.
Yeah, but he's talking about good value.
That's why I ask. You got to tell me who the pitcher is.
No, I can't.
You tell me who the pitcher is. Is it Fernando Valenzuela in his prime?
I doubt it.
Is it Dwight Gooden as a rookie?
I don't think we can get into the time machine.
Is it Chris Sale now?
Oh!
Is it Bobby Gibson? Is it Roger Clemens? Who is it? Is it Chris Bosio? Is it Jamie Moyer? Who is it?
I don't know.
It's a pitcher that is the Kyle Seager of starting pitching.
Give me what that is.
That is a 3.75 earned run average.
How old?
29.
Okay.
With 4 years left on his contract.
Yeah. At
$19 million a year. He's a number two, a good number 2 starter.
And then what do? You just play Danny Valencia at third?
Danny Valencia.
What if it's
who you playing at third? DJ Peterson? Oh, that's right. Who you playing at third?
What if I told you it's Johnny Cueto?
What if I told you
Johnny Cueto, who's
playing third? No, I like him as a pitcher more.
What if you traded him for Johnny Cueto, a guy who's been there, who's had very good numbers? This last year he struggled a little bit with injury. He had blisters. Johnny Cueto, who has been an ace before, but has struggled the last couple of years. What if I told you it was for Cueto?
He's 31 and he's struggled the last couple of years. That's not enough.
I got to have a guy who's not struggled the last couple of years.
No, he was great last year. He struggled this year.
It's because of the blisters.
Last year, he was a Cy Young contender.
We already got Cy in his blisters. How many blisters do we need?
We don't have to have Cy anymore.
But his blisters stay.
Oh, we keep.
Yeah, we want to keep we want to keep the remnants. All right, 9:43 on 950 KJR. Another injury-filled preseason. The 2017 NFL regular season will kick off September the 7th with defending champion New England taking on Kansas City, boys. How will each contest play out? Our NFL Nation reporters predict the results of every game of the 2017 season. Click on the links below to read more about each team, sorted by how our writers think they will end the regular year. So, writers in each city, including Seattle, predict the outcome of the 16-game regular season. Okay. Two teams have been picked to go 12-4. No team 13-3. No team 14-2. No team 15-1. And of course, there's only one team that goes undefeated, and that's the 1972 Miami Dolphins. I'm surprised at this because I would, right now, if somebody offered me a wager on over or under 12 for the Patriots, I would take the over. I think they're going to win 13 or more. Okay? But having said that, I'll give you that the Patriots are the 12-4 team. Give me the other 12-4 team.
Seahawks.
The Green Bay Packers.
The Green Bay Packers.
Lambeau Field.
12-4. Listen to this. People covering these teams have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different teams going 11-5. Now, how is that possible?
That's optimistic.
8 different teams. When was the last time there were 8 teams there were 10 teams 11-5 or better?
Never.
It's never happened in the National Football League. But to remember, these guys are doing it independent of one another. It's not like they're matching up schedules and so forth.
They're all very optimistic.
So the guys that cover the following teams think that the team that they're covering is going to go 11-5. Are you ready?
Let's see if we agree with them.
Ready. I'll ring the bell every time I agree with them.
Okay, and all right.
The Arizona Cardinals.
Hells no.
The Atlanta Falcons.
Double hells no.
The Carolina Panthers.
Triple hells no.
See, you know what I think about that division, as an aside? I think that division is so tough, they're all going to beat the hell out of one another.
They're all going to be around 8-8, 9-7.
Tampa's good. Carolina's good.
Yep.
Atlanta's good, and none of them are great.
They're all kind of good.
So they all are around 9-7, 10-6, right?
Right?
Yep.
And New Orleans will beat somebody, too, on a given day.
Yes, they will, especially
don't
at
kid
home.
yourself when Dick Fane's sitting there cheering for Drew Brees.
That's right.
The Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, we could ring the bell on that.
I think they could be 11-5. I wouldn't.
The Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yes, they could be 11-5.
Yeah.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I like them, but that's a little high.
The Tennessee Titans.
I like them, but that's a little high.
And the Seattle Seahawks.
You ring it a bunch of times. Yeah!
That's right on the money. I haven't looked at the schedule.
Although, didn't I say 10 wins yesterday?
I haven't done my pocket schedule
Did you guys
yet.
ask me that?
I don't know what's wrong with 12-4, but okay.
We got to do the pocket schedule next week, guys. Pocket schedule coming up.
You know we're a week away from NFL football?
Yes, we are.
So here's what ESPN writes about the Seattle Seahawks. When you click the read more, they've got the game by game. I guess this is the guy that covers them out there. Let me see if I can make sure that I have it. Sheil Kapadia. Let me see if it's make sure that it's Sheil. His name's not on this, so there's no name on this.
Let's assume that it is.
Okay, let's assume that it's Sheil.
Well, he has a new assignment now. Now there's a new guy doing it for ESPN now.
Was that right?
Not Sheil anymore?
No.
He's out.
Yes.
Oh, I read that on Twitter last week.
Brady Henderson's new guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what the guy says.
The guy.
Week 1, whoever the guy is.
Loss.
Week 2 against the 49ers, win. Mm-hmm. Week 3 at Tennessee, win. I don't know. Week 4 home against the Colts, win, 3-1. Week 5 at Los Angeles against the Rams, loss, 3-2. Bye week, bye week of 6.
That's what they do.
At the Giants in week 7, win to go to 4-2.
We got a pretty tough schedule up front. Don't we?
Home against the Texans, week 8, win to go to 5-2. 5-3 after a loss to the Redskins at home here.
No way.
That's amazing. 5-4 after a loss to the Cardinals there. But then 6-4 beating the Falcons, 7-4 beating the Niners, 8-4 beating the Eagles. 8-5 after losing at Jacksonville.
What?
Shut up.
I'm serious.
Blake Bortles is going to shred the Legion of Boom?
9-5 beating the Rams, 10-5 beating the Cowboys in Dallas, and 11-5 beating the Cardinals on New Year's Eve.
No.
Sounds like our schedule of the first 6-7 weeks is
there you go.
Not very friendly.
So give us the Jags game, and it's 12-4.
Let somebody else talk, will you, please?
Somebody else talk.
I hate the weasel. The new Chuck and Puck show is next.